This is the Vaguely Nerdy Podcast, where each week this brother-sister duo gets together to discuss the box office, latest film and TV scoops, our latest movie or show review, and what we're getting into next. We're your hosts,
Cheryl
and Jade.
This week we watch Sinners, one of the most anticipated movies of the year. You can listen more to see what we thought about it. But as usual, we'll get into our movie trivia first. I'm on deck to quiz Jay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Now, you already caught on to this a little bit, but Ryan Coogler said that two of his biggest influences for Sinners were two particular movies.
Oh.
One you already guessed.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Which was what?
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Boom.
Yeah.
The other one is also a horror cult classic.
Horror cult classic.
That you have to guess. I'm going to give you a little clues because it's a lot of those.
Okay.
It is about a team, a group versus a group. Like a good group versus a bad group. It is old. And it we talked about it a little bit ago on the episode. That's all I'm going to give you. Go with that.
A group versus another group.
Yes.
It's old. It's a horror classic.
It's a horror classic. Cult
classic.
Yes.
Which means it's not well loved, but it is loved by
it's not like
a minority.
It's not a peak cinema. It's not,
a horror that's
Stephen King or nothing.
Group versus another group
Mm-hmm.
that inspired this movie that isn't From Dusk Till Dawn.
And the groups are, there's a younger group and an older group.
And we talked about it on the podcast.
We talked on the podcast because there is a remake coming. It starred a lot of people.
Starship Troopers?
No.
No, we talked about that.
No.
A younger group versus an older group. Cult classic.
Cast included
film.
a lot of popular people.
Cast included a lot of people.
Some of them are popular still now.
How old?
98.
98. Okay.
So you were 6. But you've seen this
not
movie.
older than I thought.
Okay.
That's
90s.
not as old as I thought. Okay.
90s. Mm-hmm. Late 90s.
Dawn of the Dead? No, that didn't have anything to do with age.
Mm-hmm.
Faculty?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. I was about to give you another clue.
How did this have anything to do with the faculty?
I could see it how being like a group of people who are like not unassuming group of people going against another group of people that are like, don't know what's going on.
I guess because it took them a while in the faculty to realize
what was going on
with the teachers.
Yes.
The students.
Yeah, and probably a little bit of the hidden agenda. Like between the old group, the teachers versus the students.
Yeah.
I can kind of see it a little bit.
I can kind of see that a little bit. I definitely see it From Dusk Till Dawn.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody called this a black Dusk Till Dawn. And I was like,
That's fine, because From Dusk Till Dawn, I guess, is Hispanic.
Yeah.
Because there's only like 2 white people in that movie.
It's cultural piece.
So, sure, fine.
It's not right. I was like, I think that's a compliment, actually.
Fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Good. That is also a classic.
Yeah.
So, we're good. And I didn't realize Dusk Till Dawn and the faculty are only like 2 years apart. I don't know.
Wow, they look like they're very far apart.
Exactly.
Is From Dusk Till Dawn a period movie?
96. It looked like it be.
Yeah. This is the
Let me look at
that. Is the From Dusk
I
Till
think
Dawn
it just looks old.
based in a certain time?
It looks like, I think it just looks old. No, it doesn't say.
No, I mean, no, it's not a period because they have like a RV. So
yeah, it doesn't say it's based in a certain time period. So yeah, I can see both of those. I almost want to rewatch From Dusk Till Dawn.
From Dusk Till Dawn is really good.
It's been a long time.
It takes a while for them to get to the I guess similar, but it's still good.
It's a build up type of piece. So yeah, that is it for trivia. Shay got it right, which I figured he would because he's seen every horror movie on the planet.
Almost.
Yeah. Now let's get into the episode.
Welcome, fellow movie buffs. I'm Jay.
I'm Cheryl.
Listen in as we break down movie and TV shows, tell you what's in the plot, and hear if we think you should have watched it when you had the chance.
Dun, dun, dun. All right, this week we have some Star Wars news because Star Wars Celebration took place in Tokyo this week.
Yay.
And then we have some good trailers I think we got this week. So the trailer park is not full, but it's got some luxury brand vehicles in it. And then we got a little bit of BUNCHA CRUNCH before getting to our review for Sinners. So starting right off at the top, I almost forgot about this was a thing. And then I was like, where's all the other movies? But anywho, Star Wars Celebration was this week. So it was some Star Wars news. The biggest thing I think that came out of it was that the Sean Levy's Star Wars movie, which I forgot he was doing a Star Wars movie.
I didn't, but
you remembered. Okay.
I remember he was doing one.
It's still going. Now, you know, the joke with Star Wars is they announce something and then they'll be like, where is it? And we'll be like, we don't remember. His movie is actually moving forward. If you don't know who Sean Levy is, he just did Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yep.
So he is going to be doing a Star Wars film called Star Wars Starfighter. Mm-hmm. Doesn't tell us much.
Nope.
It's going to star, though.
It does tell us something, though.
Ken, a.k.a. Ryan Gosling.
Yes.
And everybody's kind of like, what? But I think he fits. He's giving me young Han Solo.
That was the second most interesting part about this.
Oh.
To me.
What was it? The Starfighter?
The title reveal was the most interesting part.
I know where you're going with this.
Because
I know you're going.
Where is Patty?
You don't leave Patty.
Where's Patty Jenkins?
Stars. What was it? Squadron?
Yeah, this is
Rogue Squadron.
Yeah, she was supposed to be the one doing the Starfighter movie.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so.
You know what? Sometimes I feel bad talking about Patty in Wonder Woman 84 because she literally is not getting another chance to do anything. That is unfair.
It is unfair because she had a good movie and she followed up with a bad one.
Because Zack Snyder still
plenty
getting
of
work.
People follow up with bad movies.
And always have bad movies.
I think the thing with Patty is that she was just so gung-ho about everything about... I think the thing with Patty is that she kind of dogged the production of the first Wonder Woman after everybody loved it and then like championed the second one and then nobody liked it. So it was kind of like... It's not a good movie. So then it was kind of like, well, did you have... People started to question whether she had anything to do with the good parts of Wonder Woman
first
1 because she was so against everything everybody liked about it.
Yeah, and I'm pretty neutral on the first one, and I really don't like the second one. But
she nuked herself. But, I mean, plenty of directors nuke themselves, and they still get to go on.
Yeah, so...
For some reason, Patty's getting raked over the coals.
Listen, Patty, I don't know what Patty doing.
They treated Patty like athlete. Like, Patty said something about her.
Right. She maybe had a squabble we don't know about.
But
this movie sounds... Sean Levy doing a Star Wars movie sounds interesting.
Fine, I guess.
Right, Ryan Gosling being in a lead sounds interesting. Although I think that works more. That seems to fit more than Sean Levy fits.
It seems like it's going to be a redo of the Han Solo movie.
They're going to have to make something different.
Because I don't see that much of a difference between the guy who played Han Solo and Ryan Gosling.
What's his name? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, really. One's more popular. But the Fall Guy didn't.
One's been around longer.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. So this movie is going to be a standalone. So this is not going to be tied to the Skywalker saga, although they going to name drop probably. But anyway, it's supposed to focus on new characters in the universe and set 5 years after episode 9. Okay. So enough of a time gap. But then also, where's Rey? Where's she at?
I mean, she's got her own movie. But
where?
Also, what are they fighting?
Who are they fighting?
The Empire has been destroyed.
It's only 5 years, right?
What do they call it? Not the New Republic. Was it called the New Republic?
Fancy Republic.
The new Nazis.
Modern.
The space Nazis.
Modern Republic.
Were defeated.
Right.
Palpatine is killed twice.
Done.
I think it's definitive this time. So who's the villain?
I don't.
It's not. Who's Blueface?
Thrawn.
Because
he's in Ahsoka. Oh, right. Ahsoka's in the past.
Right. Yeah.
They did talk about Ahsoka saying it's getting 8 episodes. Thrawn's gonna be a big threat.
Anakin's back, which I think we knew. I feel like that was already confirmed.
Yeah, but it sounds like he's gonna be like a main.
That's good.
But it's Ahsoka.
He's a Force ghost.
But it's Ahsoka. Don't take out.
I mean, he's going to be a main cast member. I think. I think he's just going to be appearing more.
I just don't want her to get outshined because everybody's back. You know, everybody love Anakin now.
But Ahsoka focused on a lot of the side characters.
You're right.
Like Balin.
Shin.
Her little
Hati.
Her sidekick, her Padawan.
What's her face?
Purple hair.
Yeah,
I really liked Ahsoka. It's just been so long.
I did like Ahsoka.
So now I forgot everybody's name.
Y'all know who we talking about when we say these people.
Everybody, they watch the cartoon.
But I hope that Ahsoka too doesn't focus so much on Anakin that we forget it's Ahsoka's show.
The only thing I want to know in Ahsoka season 2 is how they gonna get back.
Exactly.
And what is real power that Balin Skull is looking for.
Exactly. Yeah. It's got a lot. We already got like 2 different storylines going on.
Yeah. And so
what is Shin doing?
Ahsoka's somewhere, Balin's somewhere, Shin Hati is the same place Ahsoka is, and then
Anakin.
Oh boy, Anakin, and then they rescued from the
Fred.
Yeah, I don't know.
Think his
the new chosen one. He's everybody's new favorite Luke Skywalker. Ezra.
There it is.
Yes.
I was
Everybody's new favorite Luke Skywalker. Ezra.
Right. So we'll see. The fact that this new Star Wars movie is only set 5 years later is interesting because my question is, where's Rey? That's gonna be my question. Like, y'all ain't gonna call her. Y'all ain't gonna.
Yeah, because the Rey movie is supposed to be like much later.
She's supposed to be older Rey,
which sucks because she was barely young in her own trilogy. But now they've already thrown her into the Obi-Wan Kenobi pool.
Right. This will be coming out May 28th, 2027, because next May we will get Mando and Grogu. Will be our Star Wars movie.
I saw the leaked footage of that.
I did not see that. Somebody
good.
must have snatched it before I got a hold of it.
I mean, it looks like Mandalorian, but on a movie theater screen.
Okay.
The thing about Star Wars shows is that there's not much of a difference in effects and visuals between the shows and the movies.
That's because they do them all on the.
It doesn't
volume.
look. It's kind of like it's.
It looks good, but it looks
when Power
like...
Rangers had a movie, it looked premium because it's Power Rangers. But everything at Disney looks premium now because everything is on the volume.
Exactly.
So it all looks
good, but
right.
You're like, this is definitely all
the Star Wars corner of stuff.
You all had the same budget,
right?
Clearly. What's interesting about Mando and Grogu is that it stars obviously Pedro Pascal, maybe in the suit for 2 seconds.
The clip I saw was him in the suit and the helmet walking around outside with
without his helmet on.
No, with
in
his
the
helmet.
Okay.
He was fully suited. It looks like he's getting a different color suit, though. He's getting a movie suit. You know, they usually do a movie suit.
Upgrade.
Yeah.
It's funny because he'll have this and Secret Wars in the same month. He will literally open May with Avengers and close May with Star Wars.
Nice.
Everybody talking about Pedro is like, what is the word? Overexposed. I'm like, he's working. Yeah. He's an actor.
Sigourney Weaver's also in it, which is interesting.
She's a pilot?
She's a starfighter.
Okay.
She like in the uniform and everything. They put the photos out.
She definitely gonna be in this Ryan Gosling movie.
And she's like in the orange jumpsuit and stuff. It's funny because I don't know how tall Pedro Pascal is, but Sigourney Weaver's like 8 feet tall. So she looks huge. Super tall. She's like sitting next to him and like Grogu looks super tiny with her.
I think he's shorter than Vanessa Kirby.
He's definitely shorter than Sigourney Weaver.
Who's probably, I think she's tall though. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting.
But it's fun because, you know, she's Ripley.
Exactly.
You know, you can see her in something
Ripley
else,
in space.
Right.
You called it.
I hope they do something or mention something.
She probably gonna be in this Ryan Gosling movie now that you mention it. Why not?
Why not?
I mean, they like to share characters in Star Wars.
Or I don't know, because Mandalorian is a completely different time period. So
you're right.
That's very confusing. I think Mandalorian is closer to Ahsoka.
You're correct. So never mind.
No,
they have to like age her. She'd be like Palpatine age. We don't want that. So that is it for our movie news. I'm very curious at how the Star Wars movie gonna turn out, but I like Star Wars. We ain't had a Star Wars movie in a long time, so I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. We are now going to the
Trailer Park.
Toot. Beep.
Okay, first start on the Trailer Park is For Him. Ooh. This is a horror thriller coming out September 19th. It is being produced by Jordan Peele. This is not a Jordan Peele directed film.
Nope.
It is going to star Marlon Wayans and Tyreek Withers, who is from Atlanta.
I've never seen Atlanta, but I was like, let me find out where this man is from.
Was he a main? Yeah, I don't know if he was a main character or not. But he's also going to be in I Know What You Did Last Summer. Sequel as well.
Okay. He's building his repertoire.
Yeah, 2 things coming out.
Okay.
So what's this about? This is about a college quarterback who was taken into a sinister world by his idol to see what he's willing to sacrifice for fame. What the trailer shows is a mix of what I want to say is some Midsummer, some
Opus,
some Us, and
some Get Out,
for
sure.
It's Nope.
Definitely, it's very kooky, zany.
It's a little actually.
What do you want to call it?
It's a little less than those, and it more so looks like an American Horror Story movie.
Okay, you're right.
It looks kind of campy.
Okay.
And unserious.
Now, I've never seen American Horror Story, the show, but I've seen the trailers and
it has
commercials.
That aesthetic.
It does have that like creepy, dark, weird. Why would somebody wear that?
Lots of weird visuals. Not all of them mean something, but it's like interesting, weird, kooky set dressing.
Somebody's in like a coat that's got like a bunch of shimmy sham on it from head to toe. Somebody's dressed in something that look like horns. It's very much like Sacrificial Lamb, cult idolizing weirdness going on. And I'm not into sports, so I don't know about this one.
I'm not into sports. I would have seen this anyway.
Okay.
But the trailer does not look good.
Oh,
The
you don't like
trailer
it?
is a
You're not
little
a fan
bit
of
of
the
a mess. The trailer reminded me of what I told you about. It reminds me of that Hurry Up Tomorrow trailer.
It is.
Where it just looks like a mess of images with no coherent,
Just
like
smushed together.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
yeah.
And there's obviously like blood and him laying on the table, and
it looks freaky, but it doesn't look scary. And I was hoping it would be more scary. It looks like it's more on the line of like American Horror Story isn't scary. It's more like weird horror.
okay, just
and
creepy. It's just flat out
imagery, creepy and unsettling.
Okay.
The poster is a poster of a football that has stitches in it, like surgery stitches, and there's blood pouring out of it.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
So and
Yuck.
in the trailer, I have a hunch.
Okay, hit it.
I have two hunches.
Go.
Hunch
I'm
number
not watching
one,
this. Go ahead.
Hunch number one, Marlon Wayans' character isn't real. He's in Tyreek Withers' head. We don't see him in enough scenes.
Okay.
We only see him in that one scene, and we only hear his narration. And whenever we hear his narration, it's Tyreek Withers. We only really see Marlon Wayans in one scene sitting in his face.
Okay, but he goes to a compound of somebody.
Yeah, I mean, there are other people there, but we don't know if Marlon Wayans is real.
Okay.
Two,
That would be a good twist, I guess.
if Marlon Wayans is real, based on his poster, are they body snatching?
Now that I believe.
Yeah, I
do believe
he's body snatching.
I do believe they swapping people out.
Yeah, it sounds like, because the original synopsis of this was that Marlon Wayans is he's like a football idol who's also struggling with remaining relevant.
Yes.
And that would make so much sense with the body snatching and this being a Jordan Peele
He's like
movie.
swapping his soul out or something.
Because that was the same thing with Us and Get Out. It was
Okay.
body swapping.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see
and
that.
this looks like that.
Yeah.
It's looking like
Grossness.
It's looking like we draft the young recruits in and we steal their bodies so that we
And
can
we
continue
keep them
being
on
famous
ice
football players.
and suck their blood out or something.
Boom, solved it. I think that's what it is.
I don't want to see
It
that.
sounds like that's what it is.
Nope.
And you're right, because there's a scene where they keep his body on ice, and he seems to like wake up and not really know what's going on.
And there's a hall of like masks that look like they made out of skin.
of actual faces.
They're snatching bodies.
They're snatching bodies.
It's
They're
body
stealing.
snatching.
It's Marlon Wayans and whoever. They're probably all like old
They're
football
farming.
players. Yeah.
They're farming younger players.
Everybody on the compound is probably older football players who have body snatched, and they're preparing him to be the perfect next host.
Right.
Yeah.
I believe you.
Yep.
I believe you.
I got it.
Okay.
But
Yeah. I'm not watching it, but yeah.
yeah, it's above
I'ma read
your
this.
it's above your threshold
Yeah.
for tolerance.
What's interesting
For
because
imagery.
right, ghouls, goblins, and crazy imagery. I don't do that,
No,
and I don't want this.
you don't like because you have to be able to sleep at night.
Hello, don't like it.
So him is coming out September 19th. It is the latest horror movie in production. So this would be more under the Candyman category than this would be under the other Jordan Peele film categories. Not in quality, just in this is not
Who made
directed
it?
by him. Yes.
Right.
And a lot of people acted like they were surprised when Nia DaCosta came out and was like, "Thanks for going to see my movie." And they were like, "Oh, we thought this was Jordan Peele's."
No,
Like,
because
she made it very clear.
The marketing team know we don't read, so they
Right.
were like, even if you look at the poster, I don't even think it says the name of the director.
It says Jordan Peele's name before it says the name of the.
And it's bigger, ain't it?
I think it's 2 directors and a writer.
Ah, okay. Jordan Peele's name is definitely in bigger font.
Yeah, it's
than
the first
everybody
thing
else.
that comes up.
And they're assuming everybody's not gonna read that little
And
tidbit.
they know why they do that.
Of course,
Yeah.
we ain't stupid.
So.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck. Next up on the trailer park is The Roses. This comes out August 29th, 2025. This is going to star Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman as the couple. If you don't know, based on the title, this is a remake of War of the Roses, which was Faye Dunaway?
And Michael Douglas.
Yes. Okay,
Yes.
I couldn't remember who the husband was.
Yeah. Now, apparently I didn't rewatch the trailer. Somebody said that this is not a remake. They said it's based on, like at the very end of the trailer, they put a little blurb that says based on The Roses. So I don't think it's 100% remake.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
It doesn't.
No.
Because they didn't have kids. Did they?
Did they have the kids in this?
They got kids. They have 2 kids in this one.
I must have blinked and missed them.
They're not in it a lot.
Oh.
But they just asked something like, somebody asked how their kids
I don't
are.
remember if they had kids in War of the Roses. Were they adults? No, I don't
think they had kids.
No, they didn't.
In this one, they have 2 young kids, and as soon as I saw them, I was like, "Oh, this not gonna be the same plot."
No, because that means they're gonna live at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no way they gonna kill each other with 2 kids.
And I think that's why they included the chandelier shot, because they're like, the chandelier's already out of the picture, so it's not gonna crush them. Yes. And it wasn't high enough.
No,
because I think in the original one, didn't they both like fight on the chandelier and fall off and
die?
No,
that killed them both.
Yeah, so I think that's why they did that.
I don't think they dying, but it does look good though.
It looks good. It looks funny. So basically, if you don't know what War of the Roses is, the War of the Roses is about a couple going through a very, very nasty divorce to the point of where they're not even trying to divorce anymore. They're trying to kill each other. Murder.
Kill. Stab.
And this pretty much follows the same thing. It looks like they're going through a pretty nasty divorce. It doesn't look like they're trying to kill each other.
They look like they're trying to hurt each other.
It does look like they're trying to maim.
It seems like the lawyers are trying to help them maybe draft up the best possible paperwork.
Yeah, it's a nasty divorce.
And maybe one of them have to like be injured or something to not get the house. So I think they want to keep the house. I think that's what it might be in this one. Because he says he's built it and she's like, but she seems to be the breadwinner. Yeah. Of the 2 of them. And Benedict Cumberbatch is having some type of feeling about it. So Olivia Colman, Benedict Cumberbatch as a couple, I was already sold. But it's like got a bunch of other people in it.
It has a bunch of other people in it. Nkuti Gatwa, who is from Doctor Who and from Sex Education. Yep. Kate McKinnon, who we love, who's funny in literally everything.
She's funny in a trailer.
Yeah, she's
so
hilarious.
I'm like, yes.
And is she the lawyer or she's the lawyer? There's somebody else who plays the therapist.
Yes.
The couples counselor.
Yes.
I think Kate McKinnon is Olivia Colman's lawyer, is what it seems like.
She is, let me see, The Rose is filmed.
Or is she just a friend?
Dun, dun, dun. Oh, it doesn't have everybody's name on it.
Okay.
It's hard to say. Allison Janney is somebody. Oh, I think Allison Janney is the therapist.
Yes. Maybe. Allison Janney is the therapist who tells them they don't belong together. Yeah. I thought that scene was hilarious.
They were like, are you allowed to tell us this?
Because she's right.
Yeah. Terrible. You guys are terrible.
It's terrible.
Terrible for each other.
So this looks interesting. I'm definitely going to see it. We talked about this a while ago. They announced this a while ago.
And they ain't said nothing. Then all of a sudden they were like, y'all trailer. And I was like, ooh, yes. Yeah. I think they mentioned it at CinemaCon. That might be why we're getting a trailer now. So I'm looking forward to this one.
Next stop on the trailer park is 28 Years Later. This is, again, coming out June 20th, 2025. This is a horror movie.
Creepy. But I'm going...
this is pushing Cheryl's horror envelope. Zombie envelope.
Right on the edge.
Even though they're not zombies.
And they look like zombies. No. They like skinny and ain't got no clothes on. So they biting people.
This is a better trailer than the first trailer was fine. I like the first trailer. This trailer is the story trailer.
Yes. A little more meat.
So this one is basically Aaron Taylor Johnson is taking a boy on an unnecessary walk through.
Why you say unnecessary?
Because it's just a rite of passage. It's not like
rite of passage.
They're not like going to get supplies or food.
You don't know that.
What is a rite of passage through zombie territory?
He got to learn how to protect their home. How else he going to learn?
Because now that we know that the apocalypse is only in England, they could leave the UK.
If you don't want to leave, that's their family.
They should have left. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't get that part.
They're going on a pilgrimage through Zombieland for something because this is a cult. We've discovered this is like some religious cult of people that have decided to settle on the land instead of abandoning it.
Have their own community
because the rest of the world doesn't have the virus, right? The director said it's only here, so they get trapped out there because they are surprised by the fact that the virus has mutated them into just regular zombies. Now they're like 7 foot tall, strong, naked, super strong zombies. Yes, with underwear, which I thought was strange. Listen, because I appreciate because I don't have to
they want people to see this movie.
Right, they don't want it to be like a
NC-17
exactly. They need to still get it rated for the movie theaters. But I thought it was weird because I'm like, no, why would these crazy zombies strip down to everything but they undies?
They know at least that it's the breeze or something. They
still have their decency, right? So I thought that was interesting.
So they're not totally crazy.
We finally get some Ralph Fiennes dialogue. Looks like he's not a bad guy. It seemed like he was a little crazy in the first one.
I think he's still crazy, but he might just not be bad.
It seems like he's just a survivalist.
Sure.
I thought he was the one running the Bone Temple in the trailer, but it seems like he's just stumbled upon it with the rest of them.
As a reminder, this is a two-parter situation. So this is, the first is just a regular 28 Years Later. The next one is called 28 Years Later, Bone Temple. Yeah. So.
Some more Jodie Comer, who is with baby. I don't think she's pregnant in the movie, but I think she has the baby.
Lucky her.
Because she has the baby, and then like the boy that is traveling with Aaron Taylor Johnson is like carrying it and running behind her.
Okay. It's given. Woo.
It's gonna be gory. The one thing about 28 movies
gory.
is that they're very gory and very bloody. I don't think you've ever seen one.
No, it seemed like it's gonna be jump scare fiesta.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Fiesta.
The 28 movies, even though they're not zombies, they
Every
do
2
a
minutes.
very good job of making the infected people very freaky.
Even in the trailer, there's a jump scare.
And they run. They're not like walking, stumbling zombies. They like run after you. They like parkour.
The one everybody thought was Cillian Murphy. Oh, he looks terrible.
He looks worse up close.
Oh God, he's so bad.
I'm interested to see the lore in why they mutated. How they
you know,
got
all
bigger.
viruses. That's what they do.
But stronger?
Hey,
Turn into like super tall, strong people?
pick and choose. The virus was like, let me see what I can do with this.
They run a little willy-nilly looking.
They fast.
Yeah.
They like what else did we watch and saw that was when we watched Death of a Unicorn, and the unicorns was zooming.
Yeah.
These people are zooming.
So
Super speed.
super excited.
The
You
Flash.
haven't seen any of them. Are
I'm
you
not.
gonna watch any of them?
Do I need to? Is the question.
You should watch the first one with Cillian Murphy and Naomi Harris
I'm fine.
and Mad Eye Moody.
I'll watch it in the daytime.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
But these are supposed to be like, it's just zombies, right? It's not no like
They're
ghosts.
not zombies. No, this isn't a supernatural world.
Okay.
This is a virus.
It's actually zombies.
Yes, these people aren't raising from the dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zombies. They're still zombies.
They're not dead. They're alive.
Alive zombies. Because that's
Okay.
what they look like.
The last stop of the trailer park is for Fantastic Four First Steps. This is the first official trailer for it. This comes out July 25th, 2025. Obviously, who don't know that?
Right. Welcome to today.
So we didn't get more of Galactus, which I wanted.
All we got was his feet.
I wanted more Galactus.
Did you stay to the end of the trailer?
I stayed to
We
the
got
end
his
of the
boots.
trailer. We got Galactus boots.
Which is funny because he like is walking through the building, but he's not stepping on the building. I was
he
like,
has
how polite.
He has the ability to shrink himself down to whatever size he wants to be.
Okay.
So I guess
It's funny he's walking. He's like purposely missing the buildings.
Yeah.
Like, excuse me.
We get more of Silver Surfer.
We get Silver Surfer completely.
Yeah,
So we didn't get her before.
So the Silver Surfer in this universe is Shala Ball.
She's a
not-
woman, y'all. Don't freak out.
She's not new. She's old. She's been around for a very long time.
Thank you for making that
I'm
note.
talking like Silver Age comic books old.
Thank you for those that's tripping.
So Shala Ball's been around for a while. She has the same origin as Norrin Rad, who is the male Silver Surfer.
Right.
Which is basically Galactus stumbles upon a planet, says he's going to eat you. And she says, I'll help you hunt for other planets to eat in exchange for not eating my planet. I'll be your Silver Surfer.
Okay.
So she introduces herself. It kind of plays the same way the second Fantastic Four sequel.
People were doing like a side by side of like that scene.
And there's not that many different ways you can do that story. I mean,
right.
Silver Surfer, his thing, he shows up, says your planet has been marked for
Right.
death. Yeah.
The visuals look good.
Yeah.
People was nitpicking this trailer to death like they always
Right.
do. But she's a silver person, and she doesn't look like the T2 from Terminator, which
she
is
doesn't look
good.
any better or worse than the first Silver Surfer, who was voiced by Lawrence Fishburne.
People were trying to say like, oh, the one from 2007 looked better. And I'm like, I'm not doing this what do you call it? Revisionist history, where y'all about to say y'all love these movies now.
You know what they
when
both
y'all
look
didn't.
like? You know what they both look like?
What?
They both look like Alice Mack when she used to turn into liquid so she could get under doors. They don't. It's silver. It's a silver person.
Who?
You can't improve it too much. What was the T-1000?
Yes,
He
there
still
was.
looks the same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I thought she looked good. I like her action. She was surfing on her surfboard in some flames, doing something.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this looks good.
There's nothing they picked there.
Listen, they wouldn't. You know,
She's
they
fine.
was We finally got Reed stretching.
We got Stretchy Reed.
They was nitpicking that, but I thought it looked pretty good.
I thought the funniest thing I thought about that was somebody posted said, "Where is Reed's light-based powers?" And I thought that was funny.
all because of this Miss Marvel situation.
Yeah, the reason they did that is because they wanted to keep the stretchiness with Reed. That's why they did that.
It makes sense. They about to be in the same universe, but
Yeah.
I think it looks good. We got, I don't know, that shot was maybe 2 or 3 seconds.
It was like 2 seconds.
3 if you stretch it out. Haha, if you stretch it out.
That's funny. Did you do that on purpose?
No, I didn't. I was just off the cuff. But I like how he stretches out really long and then he shrinks back down to size once he gets to where he's going.
Yeah, it's elastic.
I thought it was really well done. His clothes don't look weird when he does it. Like, I don't know. It's
thing about Fantastic Four, which they might change, is the suits they were wearing when the accident happened also contains their genes. So that's why they always have to be in their suits to fully use their powers. But it doesn't. Sense. I don't know if they're going to do that the same, because it doesn't look like Johnny's clothes burn off. Maybe they just got rid of that.
No, and if there's a scene from the first teaser that we got where Johnny blazes off on a balcony, I think he's in regular clothes.
So I think Reed made their clothes special so that they can use them and be clothed.
I like the stretching. The little bit that we got, it looks good. I'm very excited about this movie. The score is being done by Michael Giacchino, who's also up there in terms of great scores. Yeah. So I have no notes. I'm looking forward to this.
It looks good. Somebody had a very interesting take, which I agree with and I think is cool. That they were like, well, why does this Silver Surfer need to be Shia LaBeouf?
Why not?
Change
up something. Jesus.
One, it's for the sake of change.
Why not?
Because clearly a large part of this movie is going to be a remake.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't change the Galactus Silver Surfer story too much.
Fantastic Four,
right?
Y'all.
So they're pretty much doing the same thing again. Right. So they have to do things to change it. One, two. Clearly, she's a woman because the lead of the Fantastic Four, which they said early on,
is going
to be Sue instead of Reed. And the reason Sue is pregnant is so she can have a connection with Shia LaBeouf, who's probably a mother protecting her children on her own planet from being eaten by Galactus, and they're probably going to have a moment.
That makes sense.
And that's how she's going to appeal to her, and that's how they're going to stop Galactus.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I just want to see it on the big screen.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
A very large screen.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Only thing I would have loved to see was Galactus.
Yeah, I want to hear Ralph Ineson's voice.
They are saving it, and I'm like, are y'all going to save it for the movie for real? I think they're going to wait to the very last, like the last trailer we get before them tickets go on sale is going to include Galactus' voice.
There's clearly a time jump, too, because she goes from pregnant to snatched.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I was like, that's not how invisibility works.
People posted 2 pictures, and I was like, she's super waist thin here, and she clearly pregnant on this street when she ain't in her outfit.
Snatch waist Sue with their pregnant Sue.
Right. I was like, I don't know if the first one was from before the baby, but
it's probably going to be the pregnancy probably comes first because she can't be fighting pregnant.
Okay, fair enough.
Not like brawling like that.
Okay, fair. So interesting. And I'm glad she is pregnant because we were guessing for the longest that in we have dinner at 7:00 every day clip where she's kind of like waddling. I was like, I hope she's actually pregnant. We all not just clowning on her how she walked. Yeah, she's pregnant, guys. Cool. Confirmed.
I wonder if he's gonna be a mutant because in the comics their son is a mutant. So is that
they have 2 kids, right?
Is that gonna eventually be a connection? You know what they.
Are they forgetting about the other one?
They don't talk about the daughter. They treat the daughter like this like Speed.
Okay.
Like Wiccan and Speed.
Okay.
They only talk about
Wiccan.
They only talk about Wiccan. They only talk about the son.
Oops.
So
we're getting what's his name, Franklin.
Yes,
for sure. Mm-hmm. We don't know in what capacity. We don't know what he's gonna be doing. I wonder if we gonna get like a time.
Other than being a baby.
Like is he gonna be Tyler at the end? We'll see. I'm curious to how this is going to end because clearly it's going to tie into Doomsday.
I wonder if Franklin's going to play a part in Secret Wars because Franklin's powers is that he rewrites reality.
He's going to have to grow up. Quick.
Yeah, and that was like a thing because he was like a kid who had the ability to do that, and they had to figure out how to manage that.
Okay.
While he was a baby, rewriting reality around them. They kind of stole that for Wiccan a little bit. Okay. Because people were kind of like, well, what's Franklin Richards going to do?
Right.
Also, the stick that Reed is carrying
is not just a pole.
I think it might be the ultimate nullifier, which is a random MacGuffin.
Okay.
That Reed invented in the comics.
Okay.
And
what does it do? Turn you to goo?
It's called the ultimate nullifier because
like the staff in Ragnarok.
It just nullifies, which means it just depowers you. So he invented it in the comics. He invented it because Galactus was coming.
Oh,
and he needed to invent something that would just stop Galactus from being able to eat planets. So he
just put it on his boot. Or
he
something?
Created this tiny device called the Ultimate Nullifier. It's literally the most craziest made up comic book MacGuffin ever. And it literally he turns it on and it depowers whoever you're.
That'd be the end
of
the movie.
And and that's how they stop Galactus because how else you going to do it? So I wonder if that's what that is.
Okay.
I wonder if he's running to turn the nullifier on.
The speculation is that they were either not win the fight or they will win the fight and Doom's going to show up. So I'm curious which one is going to be right.
Either. I'm fine with either.
I'm about to say, I'm literally fine with either.
I'm not attached to that universe.
No, they obviously not staying.
No.
So, see ya.
All right, so that's all the stops in the trailer park. Let's dive into this bunch crunch.
We got some casting news for Godzilla X Kong 3, which doesn't have a title just yet. Dr. Alan...
X Kong 3.
What's the subtitle? The Newest Empire?
The Lost World.
Oh, that would actually probably work. Yeah,
they could throw some dinosaurs in there. Well,
we already had dinosaurs.
Godzilla counts. Godzilla's a dinosaur, right?
Is it? Sure.
Right?
He's a reptile.
No, because he's recent.
Okay.
So, no.
Never mind. I'm just trying to figure this out. So, Godzilla and Kong 3 will have Dr. Alan Grant, a.k.a. Sam Neill.
Yes.
And y'all kind of like, who? He's Sam.
How do you not know who Dr. Alan Grant is?
Alan Grant from Jurassic Park will be joining the cast as Dr. Alan Grant. I'm just kidding. We have no idea who Sam Neill is playing, but I mean, you might as well make him Dr. Alan Grant.
As long as he's not his character from Event Horizon.
Ooh. Everybody's dead in that case. It was awful. Such a good movie, though.
Good movie.
Speaking of horror sci-fi movies that we weren't talking about, great movie. He will be joining Caitlin Dever, who is from The Last of Us. Dan Stevens is coming back, reprising his role. And then also, I briefly forgot, Delroy Lindo is also in this.
Yeah, he's racking up stuff. So this,
as he should.
Sinners,
maybe Blade. Did you see what he said about Blade? That everything it sounded pretty good, and then it just went off the rails. My first thought was,
I trust Delroy. He's been around for a while.
Well, I trust that it went off the rails. My question is, for who?
Yeah.
Like, was it on
side, Delroy?
Bingo. Add some context, because that is the curious part.
Blade is very simple.
Did Mahershala take it too far? Did Marvel like off the rails sounds? I don't know. Interesting. Anyway,
we didn't know who to yell at.
Right. We need to know who to be upset with, so we can get this movie. But anyway, Alan Grant is joining Godzilla X Kong. So I like Sam Neill, so it don't matter.
Next Scoop of Crunch, Giancarlo Esposito, John Cho, Tiffany Boone, and Tramiel Tillman will star in Your Mother, Your Mother, Your Mother with Mahershala Ali.
Speaking of.
Who plays an assassin dealing with loneliness.
I like it.
Sure.
I like that Milchek is getting in more things. He's going to be in Mission Impossible. Now he's going to be in this.
Yeah.
And obviously he's going to be in Severance season 3. But I like that he's doing stuff in between. You know what I mean?
Spoilers.
Oh. He don't die. If y'all thought Milchek was going, y'all crazy.
Giancarlo Esposito.
I mean, no notes.
Yeah. So
and we get Giancarlo and Tramiel and Mahershala in the same movie.
Yeah.
Please. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sign me up. I don't think we have a date for this yet. Dang it.
No, this just got announced like the last episode.
Yes, it did. Sorry. I'm trying to rush it along.
Last Scoop of Crunch is a Clueless TV series is in the works at Peacock. Sure.
Alicia Silverstone is coming back as Cher.
Okay.
So at least we get some consistency there. I don't know. Is she going to be like smart?
My tolerance for dumb is over.
I was going to say, is she going to be like, growing? There's going to be some growth there because she can't be Cher from the movie.
Yeah. The world is too garbage. I can't deal with dumb people too much longer.
And also, what is this going to be about? High
Alicia
schoolers?
Silverstone's kid also being vain. Narcissist, popular girl.
Kind of like, what it's probably gonna be like. What was that show with Vanessa Williams and America Ferrera that I didn't watch?
Ugly Betty.
Maybe it's gonna be like an Ugly Betty situation.
Maybe.
That's the only thing I can think of. That's kind of like that setup of like a character's kind of doing like not rite of passage, coming of age. It's probably like a coming of age show for her daughter.
Yeah, but this is a reboot, so it's probably gonna lean too heavily on like
nostalgia.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it gonna be set in modern day?
Stacey Dash gonna be in it?
No, I hope not. Oh Lord.
Me too.
No, she's lost it. I can't.
Yeah, no, she shouldn't be in it.
We can't do it anymore. Yeah. We'll reference her and maybe she.
Well, they were best friends. How they gonna?
Maybe she moved away.
Maybe they just fell out.
Passed on.
Yeah.
Literally.
Okay.
Sorry.
So the Clueless TV series is going to Peacock. I
don't have Peacock. That's getting a season. That season 2's coming out soon.
Two. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and it's one of those ensemble cast series where they bring in guest stars who are actual people every season.
Right. It's got good reviews too.
I think every episode is a different investigation.
Oh, I like that.
That's why they do different cast members.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes, I've heard good things about Poker Face.
Kind of like Cross, I guess. There's an overarching narrative, and then there are smaller cases between the show that she solves.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. So yeah, we'll see. I don't have Peacock, so we'll see.
All right. That is all the movie news, Trailer Park, and Bunch of Crunch this week. We're going to take a short break and get into our review for Sinners.
Hey. This week we watched Sinners, which came out. Turn it to my notes. Yesterday. April 8th. And that means if people like listening in like, May, they know when this movie came out. April 18th, 2025. It was directed and written by Ryan Coogler. If you don't know who that is, shame on you.
Yeah.
But I was just, for the people who don't know, he is the director of both Black Panther movies, Creed and Fruitvale Station.
Yes.
And I'm missing one. No, that's it. 1, 2, 3. Yes. So Sinners is his fifth. It's only his fifth movie.
Really?
Yeah. He's only done 5. And I say only. He's like 38. So to have these 5 movies at 38 is freaking amazing.
None more than me.
Listen.
He's also got X-Files coming out, I guess.
He said X-Files is his next project, which I'm like, after seeing this, yes.
He says he wants to make X-Files scary, which was never scary, but sure.
It was creepy, though.
It was creepy, as in like Signs creepy, but Signs wasn't scary. Okay, I forgot who I'm talking to.
That last 10 minutes of Signs, I was freaked out. I was like, turn it off. Turn it off.
I didn't find aliens scary, especially when they look like
creepy
original recipe aliens.
Ooh, them aliens in Signs.
Maybe because they were just tall.
Freaked me out so bad. Or here we go. In Signs, in the scene where Joaquin Phoenix is watching the news and the alien walks across.
Steel?
Oh, freaks me out so bad. Oh, it freaks me out so bad. I can't do it. And at the end when he's like holding it up, anywho.
I find it funny now because whenever I watch that scene, I think of it looks like the aliens doing the Drake walk. Remember the Drake walk where they was cropping him doing that stupid sideways walk into every room with them Timbs?
I wish I could envision that when I watch that scene because it freaks me out so bad.
And Blade 3. He's trying to court Denzel to not Blade 3, Black Panther 3.
I was like,
he's trying to court Denzel Washington and officially joining that, which it sounds like he is anyway. So
Blake, right? So yes, he is definitely doing X-Files because he already said that's up. We already know that he's doing Black Panther 3, which I think he asked told Marvel, I want to do this first before doing Black Panther 3, and they were like, sure, whatever you want.
Because it's Fox and it's all going to the same mouse house. So I think Fox still owns X-Files.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, so they were probably like, sure, you can go to the office down the hall.
Kevin Feige was like, hi,
that
going into their office, separate ends of the lot. And then he was also, last year, an article came out that he was going to do the Prince Jukebox musical. But we ain't heard about that.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which I would still like to see after seeing Sinners and all this, well he's able to weave in music into a movie.
They'd be smart to wait to see how the Michael Jackson biopic does.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, I wonder if they kind of put it on the back burner after Joker 2.
Yeah, and it's not even like a musical artist popularity thing. I think people are done with musical documentaries.
Yeah, you're probably right.
The last couple haven't done well.
No, but Ryan cooks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but there's the Ryan Coogler factor, so I have to add that in there.
You know what? If anybody's going to do it, it better be him because I don't know anybody else pulling it off. Cool. So. Now that we've talked a good, healthy amount about Ryan Coogler, the cat. No, I love talking about Ryan Coogler.
We just said we weren't going to go.
Literally, the reason why I wanted to see this movie is mostly because it's a Ryan Coogler movie,
absolutely.
And some of the cast, which we'll get to. Speaking of, so cast and characters of Sinners include Michael B. Jordan plays Smoke, and Michael B. Jordan plays Stack.
Yes,
surprise. He's playing twins. Mm-hmm. Haley Steinfeld plays Mary. Miles Canton plays Sammy Preacher Boy Moore. This is his first film ever. He is an R&B singer, like mostly, and he auditioned for this. So this is the first time he's ever been in a movie. We also have Jack O'Connell, who plays Remick. Jack will also be in 28 Days Later, Bone Temple, and Godzilla X Kong.
That's what it was. Okay, I was like, why does that sound familiar?
Yes.
Okay, it's Godzilla.
He's about to be busy being in that. Wumi Musaku plays Annie. Wumi Musaku is from Loki, Lovecraft Country, Scavenger's Reign.
She's not new to this channel.
She is not.
We love Wunmi.
We are a Wumi Musaku stan account.
We are.
Jamie Lawson plays Perlene. Jamie, we last saw her in...
she looked extremely familiar.
Wings. Cape Crusader, Batman. She was in Batman. She was the mayor. Right?
Oh, not Cape Crusader, the Batman.
Yeah.
I was thinking like
He's the Cape Crusader.
I thought you meant the cartoon because we also talked about that. Oh yeah,
right.
yeah. She's the mayor. Oh yeah,
Yes.
good.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's also going to be in The Running Man with Glenn Powell.
She was also mentioned in The Penguin because she won. Well,
She was at the end.
'cause
Remember
the guy
for like
died.
2 seconds.
So yeah,
She
So
was in The
she's still
Penguin
there.
for a hot second. We also have Omar Benson Miller plays Cornbread. Now, Omar Benson Miller has been in a bunch of things.
Ever.
I'm trying to think of what I've last seen him in. Oh, he was in Transformers? I don't remember him in Transformers.
Yes, he was in which Transformers?
The Transformers.
He's Anthony Anderson's cousin when the police broke in.
Yes,
Yep.
you're right. He has also been in Miracle in St. Anna. 8 Mile. That's where I mostly know him from probably. Oh, he was in Get Rich or Die Trying. He's been in a bunch of stuff. He's also been in a bunch of TV. So he's kind of like a Delroy Lindo when he's been like in a bunch of stuff.
The funniest part of his wiki, this is for your listeners, this is going to be us having a black moment.
Yeah.
The funniest part of his wiki is the wiki saying he's known for his work as Walter Simmons in CSI. No, wiki. No, that's not what Omar Benson Miller is known for.
No.
He did not begin his work in 2009.
No.
I thought that's funny.
He was in CSI Miami. You're right. But that was not what I thought
Benson
of.
Miller is a black acting legend. He's been around forever.
He has been around forever.
Like, come on. So I thought that was funny.
Who edited this
Everybody
page?
knows him from CSI.
Yeah, he also, even if you don't know his name, he has a very familiar face.
Yeah, he has a very recognizable face.
Yes.
Yeah.
Delroy Lindo, the legend.
Mhm.
I'm not going to go down his cast list. He was about to be in Blade. He's about to be in Godzilla X Kong with Jack.
Favorite Delroy Lindo role?
Ooh, now you got me pulling up his filmography.
Detective and Gone in 60 Seconds.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
I was going to say Romeo Must Die.
I've only seen that movie once, but yeah, he was good in that. Wasn't he also a cop?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a cop in a lot of stuff.
That don't matter. It's okay.
He was a very good detective.
Oh, he was in Harder They Fall.
He was in Harder They Fall.
Okay. Point Break. He was in Up. I never saw Up.
Up the animated?
Yep. He
Oh.
was a voice. He was a voice of Beta. I don't know what that was. He was in Domino. He was in Domino.
With Keira Knightley?
Mm-hmm.
Who was he, your handler?
Let me see. Listen, we was like, we're not gonna talk that long. That's
We literally have
a lie.
started off on a tangent.
He played.
He was in Malcolm X. I didn't know that.
Who was he in Malcolm X? Ooh. What
West
is it?
Indian Archie.
Okay.
But also, which I forgot,
You're right. Gone in 60 Seconds might be my favorite. I take that back.
freaking Crooklyn.
Oh, never mind.
So I changed
Never
my
mind.
answer.
It's Crooklyn.
It's Crooklyn.
Duh, it's
Because I
Crooklyn.
forgot he was in Crooklyn.
Duh, it's
Are you
Crooklyn.
kidding me?
Jesus. Shame on us.
Okay, so
Crooklyn's like Crooklyn's
Crooklyn is
one of my favorite
movies of all time.
He was also in The Devil's Advocate. Oh, he's uncredited. Okay, I'm about to say now, who was he? Okay, Delroy Lindo is a legend. He's been in a bunch of stuff, including Crooklyn, which I need to rewatch.
He was in 2 Jet Li movies back to back. He was in Romeo Must Die and The One.
I ain't seen The One in a very long time.
It's been so long that I forgot that was a movie based on the multiverse.
Oh yeah,
That was like the first multiverse movie.
Yeah, I think people credit that with being like the
Totally
first
forgot about that.
multiverse movie.
Okay.
Okay, and then the last person I'll mention is Lee Jong Lee,
Mhm.
who plays Grace Chow, who
Yes.
is one of the Chinese community members in this here movie.
Yeah.
So runtime 2 hours and 17 minutes, which feels appropriate for such a movie. It definitely is you got to build everything up to get there kind of movie.
Yeah.
Budget of $90 million, box office opening day $19.2 million, and is estimated to do $45 to $50 million domestically opening weekend.
That's good, but I think it's going to be projections.
Yes.
Because we had a lot of people in our theater.
It was packed, and
And-
a lot of people are saying that their theaters have been packed.
Yeah, and we've been in a theater where a movie made $50 million, and it wasn't that many people in there. So
No, I mean,
yeah.
we was like seat to seat.
Yeah, so.
And also, if this movie is currently and I say competing in terms of like people just comparing numbers against Jordan Peele's Nope for the highest opening non-IP film since the pandemic. So Nope opened with 44.3 million, but apparently Nope didn't have as much of a positive reception in terms of like critics and audience. And this has everybody loving it.
Why didn't Nope?
I don't know why
because of the alien thing.
I have no idea. I didn't watch it.
Nope wasn't scary.
Okay, maybe
Nope
people didn't like it wasn't scary.
Nope was the one that wasn't scary. It was a cloud that
Right.
was sucking up people if you looked at it.
Right,
and
right,
the cloud
right.
was like an alien. It wasn't scary.
Maybe is that why people didn't like it? I'm not
Maybe?
not that people didn't like it, but it was not as well received as Sinners.
Maybe following up, because Nope was actually like a sci-fi.
Okay.
Maybe following up his two scary movies, they didn't
With this
expect this to not be scary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But people are saying, is Ryan Coogler going to beat this record that Jordan Peele had put out? And the interesting thing about Nope's record is that when it came out, it beat Us. So Jordan Peele beat himself. And now Ryan Coogler might be beating out Jordan Peele. But I'm sure it's all love or whatnot.
Hey.
Not like an actual competition.
Black on black, non-violence.
Exactly. And this is also big because this is not a franchise or based on any type of sequel, requel, or remake. This is an actual original film out of Ryan Coogler's brain, which people are always like, we don't get enough of these. Like, we do, but y'all don't go see them.
But you heard it may be a franchise? Are they maybe trying to turn it into
I
something?
don't think they should.
They shouldn't.
I think Ryan should just continue to get whatever money he wants to make whatever's in his brain.
I mean, if he wants, I would watch more movies in this universe.
I would. But based on how this movie went, I hope he leaves it.
Or similar movies, but they don't have to be connected.
Yeah.
He can do more horror.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I would take that. As far as ratings go, the cinema score got an A, which is unheard of for a horror movie. This is the first horror movie since Poltergeist, which came out in 1970 something, to get an A. So it's been like 30 some years since a horror movie has gotten an A. Cool. All of Ryan Coogler's 5 films that we just discussed earlier all have an A or A+.
Nice.
I mean, the man is like, he the Black Nolan. I'm just gonna call it.
I mean,
they friends too.
They
So
friends.
it ain't even, that's a compliment.
He helped on this film.
He called him up like, hey, how you work these cameras?
Yeah.
I need to get this IMAX popping. Rotten Tomatoes, no different. The audience score is a 97 and the critic score is a 98.
Good.
Literally, everybody agrees that this movie is amazing. So now that we've discussed the facts about Nope and all our extra commentary, Jay, hit us with the plot.
The plot of this is Michael B. Jordan plays Smoke and Stack, twin brothers who are returning to the Mississippi Delta with cash so that they can open up a juke joint.
Cash and liquor? Oh no. Goods.
Supplies.
Yes.
They've come back into town with supplies. They are going to open up a juke joint in town. And on the opening night, they are visited by vampires and hijinks ensue.
Lots of gory hijinks.
Yeah.
Not like your average hijinks. Super gory hijinks.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into our we will not spoil the movie first. Although if you are on social media, good luck.
Yeah.
They're not holding back. Everybody's like, wait till Monday. No, they're not. They're in each other's comments, spoiling it for each other. So let's do our non-spoiler thoughts first before we get into spoilers. I'll let you go first.
So I thought the movie was good. I thought all the acting was good. I liked the lore.
Yes.
I don't think this is from anything. He made this up.
Yes.
So
original.
for 2025 making up new lore about vampires who've been around forever, this was good.
Yeah.
And otherworldly lore, because it's not just about vampires. There are other things, and other people mentioned.
Yes. Okay.
And I guess that was kind of a slight disappointment, but doesn't work against the movie at all. All in the marketing, people kept saying, "Oh, there's more than vampires. There's more than vampires.
Yes.
There's more than vampires."
He kind of said that too, I think.
Yeah. I mean, this is mostly a vampire movie. So I liked the depiction of the vampires in this movie. I wish that there was more supernatural elements in it.
Okay, I've saw some of that.
There definitely is other stuff that happens in this world, but this is very vampire focused. So it's
there are
not
other
like
themes, I guess you could
the
say.
marketing made it seem like they were hiding non-vampire creatures or entities behind the trailers, but it's just vampires.
It is just is in terms of the threat. It's just vampires.
Yeah, this is focused on vampires.
Correct.
But I liked the lore. I liked how it tied into the history.
Yes.
I liked how he referenced different actual communities and tribes in history and how it ties into the things that are taking place in this movie.
Agree.
I thought the villain was good.
I liked him.
He wasn't as, I liked the fact that he kind of just showed up.
He did.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. And
showed up.
There wasn't a huge Thanos-length backstory about his motivations.
No.
He is literally just a vampire doing vampire things, and he literally just appears on the scene. almost as if he has fallen from the sky.
Literally. So in the trailer, this is not a spoiler. There's a scene of a guy who looks like he jumps off of something and runs towards the house. That's him.
Yeah.
And I thought that was Michael B. Jordan or somebody. Yeah. No, that's him showing up.
And I was fine with that because by the time we get to him, we have seen so many different characters.
We have.
That we have been introduced to.
We have absorbed a lot of story about the other characters.
That was fine with my villain just showing up.
Right.
And I liked the side characters because the town felt real.
It did.
The town felt like they had people
What's that
in
movie?
it. Killers of the Flower Moon.
Boom, there it is.
That's exactly what
it's giving me. Yep.
The town in this reminded me of the town in Killers of the Flower Moon without taking 3 hours to get there. But
not our favorite movie, sorry.
The town felt alive. Everybody was a person that had backstory. We got backstory. We got dialogue about how they were connected to the twins.
Yes.
How long they had been in that town. Each of them had a name for something.
Correct.
Delroy Lindo's character was known for being the blues player around town. The Chows were known for being the grocery store owners and the sign painters.
Correct.
Everybody had like a purpose. Preacher Boy was known for being Preacher Boy.
Right.
So the town felt like it felt real. So then
like a real community.
When the vampires show up at the end, there's a Mexican standoff. The stakes feel real because it's like, oh, all of these people are people who have connections.
They all know each other.
Who mean something to this community.
Right.
So the stakes are real.
They're not like a ragtag crew like we get sometimes in movies. These people actually know each other and care about each other.
Yes. That's all I leave for non-spoiler.
Something that you mentioned that I'll just hit real quick is that on IMDb, I don't be fact checking IMDb. I'm going to trust them. Okay. That Remick, the vampire, the main vampire villain, mentions how Christians took his father's land in one of the scenes in the movie. Given that he's Irish,
that makes sense.
This would mean that the IMDb is saying, given that he's Irish, that means that he was alive before Ireland got converted to Christianity, which means that he might have been alive somewhere between the 5th and 7th century, making him 1,300 years old.
And that explains the currency he had.
Yes.
That in the movie.
The one thing I would have, I'll save that, but I'll mention something of what I would have liked with Remick. But anyway, I echo the same non-spoiler thoughts that you have. I'll add that it looks great. You already kind of said that, but the costuming looks great. Ruth E. Carter, the double Oscar-winning costume designer, did this. It looks good. The makeup also looks good, so we get to start the biting and the scratching and whatnot.
Yeah, the gore effects were really good.
Very well done.
Time here.
A+ cinema score for them.
I don't know who did that.
Yeah, I mean, it just looks. We lingered on it quite a bit in some spots. You like, ooh.
Yeah, that's one of my notes is that these are not the vampires that heal and get pretty after they come back.
This is no Lestat. Yeah. Okay, like they come back, but they come back with their wounds.
Right.
Nasty, but it look good.
Right.
I like that this movie was able to use music as a focus, even though it wasn't a musical. So you have movies like Joker 2, where it's a musical, and the music is just like, can we get this song over with?
Yeah.
And then you have a movie like this, where music is almost like a side character. It's a plot device.
Yeah.
And it actually works. So that was all good.
Yes.
Blues music, I guess also Irish music. All music is basic. I mean, if you watch a trailer, Women Musaku's character says like music is used to open a veil.
Music magic.
Exactly, between the past and the present, but it also invites some people you don't want in your business. So music is very well throughout this music. There was some injection of comedy, which was nice. This wasn't a comedic movie by any means, but the characters having funny moments was actually also good. And then I like the slow burn. The build up was very good till we get to the end. So all the pacing was nice of the movie. And then I also like that there were several themes of the movie, but the movie is not a slave movie. Like people were like, oh, it is based in Jim Crow South. We get some mention of the Klan. We see some robe action. We see some rude white folk, but it's not a slavery movie. So please do not think you're going into this seeing like, cause some people avoid movies like that, which is fine.
Yeah.
This ain't what this about.
Yeah.
This ain't what this about.
I get it.
And then it is more gory than scary. Which is fine. Yeah. Some people thought they wanted more scarier, like vampires and whatnot. If you can handle like an Aliens or an Event Horizon, you can watch this.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
But if somebody made sense, it didn't need to be scary.
It did.
Everything. Not everybody likes being scared.
Black people living in 1930 is scary enough.
Yeah, I mean the real horror was the racism.
Hello.
Yeah.
There's actually
even the vampires knew it.
There's a plot point that I'm gonna get to when we get to spoilers. I was like, this is the horror right here. Right. So yeah, if you are standoffish about this because you think it's scary, I mean, it's like a jump scare, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Did you have any standouts? We can do that before non-spoiler. Any standout actors or characters?
Wimi Musaku.
Yep, that's mine. I mean,
Wimi and Delroy, like Michael B. Jordan is good in this.
Yeah.
And I will admit, I am not a person who will just see a movie because Michael B. Jordan is in it.
No.
But this is probably, if I had to list all the Michael B. Jordan roles that I've seen, this is at the top.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
However,
people can finally talk about something other than Killmonger.
And Wallace from The Wire, who I always
I never even, did they still talk about Wallace? I never hear about him. Oh,
he looked the same. He looks like Wallace.
Okay.
Just older. But Wimi Musaku and Delroy Lindo, even Omar Miller, like the side characters were great in this, but I'm gonna give my two standouts would be them two together.
There's a scene in the movie where Delroy Lindo's talking about something doubtful that happened to his friend, and at the end he just breaks out in a humming because he feels like he's about to just break down into tears.
So
like,
good.
Oh my god,
so good.
Delroy Lindo is so good.
I was on the cusp of like, is it water? Is somebody cutting onions in here?
He's such a good actor.
But yes, them two. I mean, top tier.
And they gave them the best things to say in the movie. One Musaku was the lore queen, so she had all the lore.
She was the roots worker.
She was the one in the know of everything.
Okay.
And Delroy was the one who had the stories.
He did.
And he had some of the best dialogue, talking about the town.
Right. Even though he was, quote unquote, the drunk, but after what he had lived through, the brother needed a drink.
What we learned in They Clone Tyrone is that the town drunk is the one who sees everything, and they the one who be knowing the truth.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
So
check out They Clone Tyrone. Also a great black movie.
Also a great black movie.
Anything else we have before we get into spoilers?
No.
All right. So we are going to get into our spoilers section of this movie in 3, and 2, and 1. So let's start off with our first character, Michael B. Jordan, who plays Elijah Smoke. They have real names, but in the movie they mostly go by Smoke and Stack. Now I will say, for like the first 15 minutes and when they were on the screen, I was like, which one is Smoke and which one is Stack?
I had to pull up the wiki in the beginning because they called them Smoke and Stack. They refer to them as their nicknames and their real names.
Yes, they do have real names. Mm-hmm.
They don't stick to like one or the two. So I got confused when they would start calling them Elijah and Elias.
Right. But it's kind of like in what is it, Star Wars, where sometimes they call Master Jedi or something, and sometimes they call like their real name. It's like, who is Greg?
Yeah, right.
You're like, oh, you talking about Jedi Qui-Gon Jinn. Yes. Okay, gotcha. So yes, Elijah Smoke. So just to give like as we go through this review, Smoke is the one with the red hat, right? I had this. Dang it.
No, that's Stack.
Stack is one with the red hat.
Stack was the one that was that's with Haley Steinfeld.
Okay, so Stack, red hat, Haley Steinfeld, Mary. Remember that?
Yes.
Smoke, blue hats, Wimi Musaku, Annie. Them is the people that's grouped together in this movie. As far as the characters, though, Michael B. Jordan did a very good job playing two different people. I give it to him.
Yeah.
He played them different enough. They weren't polar opposites. So I'm glad that they dressed slightly different, or else we would have been in trouble.
They weren't different enough for me.
Okay.
Sometimes I would get confused which one of them was in the scene if one of the characters didn't directly address them by name.
Okay.
And the twins are very similar in reality. So sometimes it's hard to tell when two twins are standing in front of you.
True.
Maybe that was an acting choice, but I don't think that they were different. I thought they would be like the way the trailer made it seem like, outside of the obvious spoiler, was that one was going to be on the lighter side and one was going to be on the darker side.
Yeah, like evil and good.
Yeah, like Cain and Abel.
Yeah, right.
But they kind of weren't like that. They were both Cain.
Yeah, they were both like willing, dealing, and stealing.
Yeah.
They both had the same objective of like, essentially they left to go to Chicago together. And it sounds like they also been in like the military and whatnot together.
So after they left, were they deserters?
I don't know. We didn't really touch on that.
And they didn't touch on that. They were definitely in Germany.
Yeah, they definitely seem like they like fought in wars or what, got sent overseas or whatever, but they didn't really touch on if they like just left.
And they do that often in this movie. They
where it
like
just seem like they left.
They kind of like touch on it slightly and then leave you to figure
Just
out
keep
what may have
going.
happened. Yeah, they
Right.
do that a lot.
So they left Chicago and apparently they work for Al Capone. We don't know why they stopped working. Well, they come back and saying like the North is just as racist as the South. Because Sammy's like, oh, I want to go to Chicago because I heard it's better. And they're like, psych. It's just, what did they say? They swap plantations for tall buildings or something like that.
Well, we know why they don't work for Al Capone no more.
Well,
So
I guess, well, you can say they basically, how they get their liquor is somehow they stole from both the Italians and the Irish people.
the Irish and Italians are neck and neck.
Because they're both the mob in
So
Chicago.
They're playing both sides, stole from both,
Stole from both and then took their junk.
blamed each other, and then left.
And right, had them pinned up against each other and then took all their junk and left and came back down. So they technically ran away, in my personal opinion. So they don't get caught with all this liquor and all this booze because they got like wine and Irish beer that they don't have down south. And everybody's like, ooh, this fancy stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, because we stole it. But Michael B. Jordan plays I feel like they were different enough for me once I like pinned down Smoke was in the red and Stack was in the blue.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, now I can get Stack is more of our like straight businessman about business, like very serious. Smoke is more of he a little more, what do you want to call it? Not immature, but he a little more
Stack
casual. I don't know what you want to call it.
Smoke seems to be like the twin that was born a minute earlier than the other twin. He kind of acts like it. You know, when you
He's like the firstborn.
Yeah, you have twins and one's acting like, oh, I was born a minute earlier, so I'm clearly like the older
leader.
and wider, the older and wisest of us both. And it's like,
there we go.
You act like that, but y'all both equally immature.
They are they equally in the bad dealings together. Like they feed off of each other. And I like the fact that they didn't have a weird relationship. Like they don't dislike each other. Like they love each other because they're brothers. And I like it wasn't this whole like, yeah, we're twins, but I actually hate you situation. It wasn't anything like that.
Yeah.
So I liked both of the characters in terms of how they were portrayed. I liked their relationship. I do like there were subtle differences so I could at least know who was who. And in the end, like till the very end, they were still like, we brothers and we gonna do to maybe the world's detriment. We gonna do whatever we need to do for each other. So I like that.
So Smoke is the one who stays not a vampire, and Stack is the one who is turned.
Right.
They show that in the trailer. Each person is turned one by one, it seems like, up until the climax of the movie, when it just like a whole bunch of people get turned at once.
It's a party. It's a turning party.
But Stack is the one that gets turned and goes over to the dark side. We see in the trailer. After he did a good job playing both sides.
He did.
The guy on the inside trying to defend from the vampires and an antagonist vampire on the outside.
Right. I'm about to put it on our notes. Stack, vampire.
Okay.
Smoke, not vampire. That's gonna help me out, y'all. They look alike. Sorry.
And his accent was fine.
It didn't bother me at all.
A lot of people were complaining in the trailers, like, "Oh, his accent is obviously very." Oh, well,
I was people.
Yeah, it wasn't bad in the movie. No.
Nope. I mean, you know, he's going for a southern accent. It nails it. I mean, I ain't from the South, but it wasn't like Mickey 17. Where Robert Pattinson's whatever he was doing, I was like, I don't like this. Michael B. Jordan was fine.
His southern accent was fine. It wasn't good, but it was hidden by the fact that literally everybody in the movie is faking a southern accent
of some sort.
So
yeah,
it sounds natural in the
context
pool
of
of unnaturalness.
So right, it was not not bad at all.
He said he did a voice coach, and I think that was fine. He did a dialect coach for the South because both brothers have slightly different.
They do.
Accents.
That's another way you can kind of tell them apart is that they do talk a little differently.
And I think he did a good job doing that.
He did. Yeah. Best Michael B. Jordan performance, I would say. Yeah. And as far as these characters are concerned, even though they're not my favorite, I just feel like the rest of the supporting cast is also very good. So they just kind of all stand high amongst each other.
Yeah, they did a very good job at fleshing out the characters.
Agree. Agree.
All right, Haley Steinfeld plays Mary, not Kate Bishop, in this movie.
She looked like Kate Bishop.
I liked her in this role. I think this is the first role I've seen her play like an adult character who's not quirky or still like coming of age or learning to learn something or something like that. This is she grown woman. This takes place in 1932. Yeah. I don't know if we mentioned that earlier. We did?
I don't think we did.
Okay, so that 1932 Jim Crow.
Yes.
She did a good job. I mean, playing a white woman in the 1930s. Her walk.
She played a white woman who hung out with the black people.
Yeah.
Which was funny because even in 1932, I was like, I guess this is how this would work.
Yeah. Even in 1932, I was like, yeah, there's still U's around.
It's still, right. I was like, like she didn't blend in because she's obviously white.
No, they never blend in.
But it was obvious to see how like she was accepted into the black community. Yeah. So I was like, I can see how this would work. Mary was definitely, I guess Mary was supposed to be representative of, because at some point, like you said, everybody does get turned. But Mary is used to go out and talk to the vampires who are white.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else.
Uh-oh.
I thought you were going to say Mary was used as our biracial component. But slightly.
You know what's funny? People were saying she was mixed race. And she mentions that her grandfather, Mary, the character, mentions that her grandfather was half black. And I was like, but that's your grandfather. Mm-hmm. If both of your parents was white and your grandmama was white, girl, you mostly white. Right. But anywho.
But they stayed in the Mississippi Delta. Around the rest of the black folks.
Right. And
they weren't racist.
Yeah. So. I mean, at this point, she's, because when Smoking Stack left, she said she was waiting around for him. So when we see her, she mad.
Yeah, because she was in love with Stack, apparently. Yeah. That was their backstory.
That was their couple. They was in love, but he left, and she was like, I believed you when you said we was going to come back. So there's some contention, like, old flame situation. But so she's sticking around because she low-key want to get back with Stack, even though she married now.
I liked her character. It was a great surprise because the trailers played it up to seem like the white people show up to ruin the black party. And the movie reveals that Haley was always there. I thought she was going to show up with Remick and his group.
Okay.
And seduce one of the brothers. And that's how she was going to get in. But no, she was already a character. She had a backstory. She had relationships with all of the characters.
And he calls her family at one point.
Yeah. And I liked her character. And I liked that she refused to be pushed out because she grew up there. So how you gonna tell her where she can go and how she can live her life?
Right. She actually tells Sammy, boy, get out my face.
I like the pack. I like when she said that. She said, get the F out my face.
She did.
And she said she could beat up everybody in the club when Stack said he was gonna get somebody to drag her out of there. I would like to see it. Like Monique said.
I would love to, I would like to see that because she said it with such authority. I was like,
she had confidence.
Nah, girl.
She had confidence.
This is giving white girl in the black community. Because the way she said, I was like, nah, girl.
This is good. She had confidence.
Now,
I thought it was funny.
It was funny.
I would have liked to see it.
I would have loved to see it.
But I thought it was funny.
She played that role real well.
They did a good job of writing lines for the brothers and for Sammy to say to her to make her feel like she needed to leave or she didn't belong. And I love the fact she was like, no, I'm not doing it. No, I don't care if I'm the only white girl in the establishment. I'll be that.
Right.
I thought it was funny.
Because that's who she grew up around. Because I guess what we also didn't mention is that her mother took care of Smoking Stack when they were babies.
Yeah.
And she was back in town because her mother passed away. Mm-hmm. And another reason why she was pissed at them is because they didn't come to her mom's funeral.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of community connections amongst all the characters, like we said. And this just added to that.
It was like a messy family. They were all kind of like related in a way.
In some sort of history or backstory or experience or trauma or whatever.
So I thought she did a good job.
I agree.
I don't know what... has she been mentioned? Well, none of the young Avengers have been mentioned for coming back into the MCU yet.
No, I think she said something about she's excited to take the character forward.
I'm trying to think the next time we're going to see her outside of Beyond the Spider-Verse, like actually see her in something.
I don't know what else she's lined up for.
But I liked her. So
she did good.
Next on the list is Miles Caton, who is Sammy, Preacher Boy Moore. Spoiler alert, he is the final girl. They reveal that in the beginning of the movie.
You did not like that.
Which I wish they would have said.
Yeah, so this is one of those movies that opens with the end.
Yeah.
So when we open up, we see and actually, now, because this is set in the 1930s, I thought his face is scratched up. So he's rolling up in a car with his face scratched up. And I was like, oh, snap, he been whipped. I was like, oh, we about to get into something. Yeah. But he's come to find out he's not whipped. He got scratched by some vampires or the vampire, I guess I should say. But yeah, so we open up with the end and we see that Sammy is essentially the last man standing, which I didn't really think about until we got to the end. And I was like, Oh, wait a second.
Yeah.
I remember where we started.
I didn't like that. I wish they would have saved the reveal that everybody died until the end. If you're going to reveal that everybody died, do that at the end of the movie.
Typically, when they do stuff like that, there's more movie left. But at this point of the
usually
movie,
there's a surprise.
That was literally the end, and then we get a time jump, and then that is the end of the movie.
We discussed this previously, and we were like, usually when they do those type of openings where they reveal the end in the beginning, it's because when they get back to that scene in the end of the movie, there's going to be a revelation that you didn't notice because you had the context in the beginning of the movie. Right. That wasn't here. There was no revelation. There was no, the context is that everybody died. So
literally. And at this point, you're just wondering, well, how?
I wish they would have saved that, but outside of that had nothing to do with his character, I guess.
No. We did start the movie with him, though.
As an actor, I think he did a good job.
He did good.
His first breakout role. He was pretty much the main character. I mean, we followed him throughout the movie.
Yeah, the point of view, at least of the first half of the movie, is we're following him with because he's cousins with Smoke and Stack. Yeah. I guess we didn't establish that. Their dads are brothers. Yes. So their family, they're coming back. He already knows them and what they've been up to and all that. So he's very much like, I want to follow in y'all footsteps, because you've made it out. He wants to make it out too. So he's tired of picking cotton.
Good acting role for him. The character, woof.
He do that typical young. They don't say how old his character is, but he does that typical young. You ain't been out in the world. You ain't got no sense about you yet because you ain't left the plantation yet. Moves that you like, Sammy?
Old enough to be having sex with married women.
Get it?
Sammy was dumb. Sammy was not making smart decisions.
There's a couple scenes where we're like, me and the chick that was sitting next to me literally at the same time, we're like, move! Because he was just doing that standing there situation.
Sammy was making all of the dumb horror movie characters' decisions.
He was
standing outside when
prolonged periods of time.
One of my notes was 2 notes under Sammy for doing the same thing twice.
Yeah.
Let's stand and listen to the door that we know dead Stack is behind.
Yeah.
Because why? Let's put our ear to it.
Ear to the door.
We know that he's in there.
Dead man.
Yeah.
Who's now talking to you.
You almost got a knife in the face because you wanted to listen to the door when you know Stack is in there. You know he was dead when you left the room.
And now he's talking.
Alive. Right.
Why would you need to listen to that?
Let's stand around and listen to the vampire singing outside. You're outside. This is the one place they can get you.
That was a scene where we were like, move.
This is the one place they can get you. You want to loiter?
You literally
out here
stand it. And then there was another scene where he is now he didn't caught feelings for Pearline, the woman who's married, and it's like you known her for 3 hours. Move.
Leave. There's a scene. I put a note, which I guess I don't know if he did this on purpose or not because it wasn't in the trivia, but I thought he pulled the garlic scene from The Thing.
Oh, I didn't see that in the trivia.
The Thing, if you don't know what The Thing is the movie about a shape-shifting alien thing that was plaguing a bunch of scientists out in the Arctic. It's a very, very old classic horror movie. But there's a scene in The Thing when the point of the movie is that the alien shapeshifts.
Yes.
And it infects and spreads people. So you don't know who the Thing is. It's one of the people in the campus. And
he's a scroll.
Yeah, basically. And the way they had to figure out which one of them was the Thing was they cut their finger and put their piece of their blood in a petri dish, and they would put hot iron to it to see if the blood would react because the Thing didn't like heat or fire.
Okay.
And they kind of did the same thing in this movie with garlic. Instead, they stood in a circle and all watched each other eat garlic to see if they would freak out if one of them was a vampire.
And Pearline didn't want to do it.
Pearline was willing to take a bullet to the face because she did not like the taste of garlic.
Yeah. Because which twin is the vampire again?
Stack was outside.
Smoke was about to shoot her.
Yeah, Smoke was going to shoot her.
Because she was like, I don't want to do it. He take out his gun and we've seen Smoke shoot 2 people already in the butt, in the leg. So we already know he about that action.
Yeah.
And he was literally about to kill her because she didn't want to eat no garlic.
Yeah.
And Sammy was like, no, put the gun down. And Smoke take that gun and pops him in the mouth.
Because he just met that woman today.
Hours.
Had sex with her.
Literally hours.
Minutes ago. And is willing to lay down his life. I mean, she was too. When Stack was killed in a room.
Yes.
When he shot up old girl, she ran in there like, oh my God,
where's Sammy?
Is Sammy in there as Preacher Boy? And it's like, where's your husband?
Y'all just met.
Yeah.
It wasn't that good. Ain't no way.
Yeah.
In them hours. Ain't no way.
Where your man?
Why
Why you worried about Sam?
are you here? You should have stayed. You know what? You should have stayed home and you would be alive right now. But no, you wanted to go be an adulteress.
Jack O'Connell plays our villain, Remick.
I liked him.
He was a good
He
job.
was a very good, even though he doesn't show up until, maybe 40 minutes, an hour into the movie.
It's very from dusk till dawn, where it's a very, very large chunk of the movie that is just built up and introducing you to characters.
Yeah, and fortunately, the way it's written and the way our characters are, is enjoyable to watch. Like, we're enjoying learning about all this.
Yeah.
But main villain, Remick don't show up. He literally drops out of the sky. Literally.
And that makes
smoking.
sense because we find out later he can fly.
Yeah. So he flies from somewhere.
Flew from somewhere.
He getting toasted and burn up because the sun is out, and he's trying to get into another house. Now, Remick is followed by who I'll mention this in my, it's not really like a dislike later. Remick is being followed by some people.
Yes.
And
I'm glad we saved that.
Right. But his mannerism, he's very charismatic. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's very friendly.
Yeah.
And here's something I didn't know until later into the movie, is that vampire lore is that you have to ask to come in the door.
Cheryl didn't know that vampires had to be asked inside.
They had to be invited into your residence.
That's funny. You don't watch any horror stuff.
Listen, I'm I'm very picky because I got to sleep at night.
I thought that was so fun because the whole movie when
I'm
they
like,
were doing
what?
invitation moments, I was like,
and
this
they
is so
do
dumb.
several.
And you had no clue.
Mary actually does one, and I don't even know this is happening. And I was like, why is she doing this? Because Remick is very like polite. His vampire is very much like, we can all be vampires together. Yeah. Let's heal the world. Let's take over because
it's like he wants to make his own minority, or he's made his own minority.
Right, well, they're the minority. He want to grow their numbers, and they're trying to do this by like, it's lovely over here. Grass
it's
is
about
green.
Love and fellowship and community and family instead of race and murder.
Right, he's trying to say, don't you guys want to escape this life of trash and being with these racists?
Wouldn't you rather be dead than a victim?
Wouldn't you rather live forever and escape the racism
and never see the sun?
And he almost gets smoked for a second. Smoke like, because at this point Stack's been turned.
Right.
But Remick is very charismatic. He does vampire very well. The way that they styled his fingers at the end.
Yeah, that's like a 30 Days a Night thing.
Okay.
Where they give him claws.
Yeah, he don't start out with claws.
Yeah, he's got like really long, like Nosferatu nails.
Ooh, they long, child. But they look good. They look really good. He also has a dance number. So Remick is Irish, I guess, to give some backstory. His vampire is Irish, and he does like a whole dance number, and it was really creepy because he's got all of the black people also in his Irish jig, and I'm like, this is strange
because they share memories, which is additional lore piece that's new. That vampires share memories when they turn. Yeah,
so every time they bite somebody, they absorb whatever person's that they bit. Yeah, memories, which was, and they, as we mentioned, they don't kill the person just comes back as a vampire. Yeah, so now everybody just sharing memories and bloods and bites. Yeah, but I like Jack O'Connell in this, so I'm looking forward to see him in the 28 Years Later movies. And
I wonder
Godzilla.
what character he's gonna play. I mean, he lives in the first one.
He definitely about to be a zombie. Oh, he's definitely zombie for sure.
Like a sentient one? Maybe he turns into a zombie in the second one.
Maybe. Yeah, man's definitely playing vampire
or villain. Well, the thing about 28 is that like all apocalypses, the real thing you have to worry about is the other humans.
Oh, right, because we are trash and we will kill each other. So at a moment's
when
notice.
you decide to finally watch the first 28 days, the real villain are the other people.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not surprised. It doesn't surprise me at all.
So I wonder if he's going to be one of those.
Right up his alley.
Yeah. Wonmi Mosaku plays Annie. This is Wonmi's third time back on the podcast.
Yeah, I loved Annie. Was my favorite character. Yes. She's the root worker. She is the former love interest or current love interest. Yeah. I don't know if they were married or not, but anyway, she was with Smoke. She's the one who's with the one that didn't turn into a vampire. Yes. But they had a baby who unfortunately did not make it. So when he shows back up to visit her, he visits the grave, and then she talks about they have a contentious relationship. One, because he left. Two, because he doesn't believe in her practice and all of that. And she's like, listen, far as you know, is working on you. But then he was kind of rude about, well, how come you didn't work on the baby? And she was like, That's kind of rude.
Right.
But her character was the smartest one.
Yes.
She definitely kept all of them alive.
Ooh, thank
okay.
God.
She was the one who came up with the garlic circle. Okay. And so, because what happens at the juke joint, once everybody leaves, they find somebody who's dead. And they're like, oh, snap. Who bit him?
Yeah.
Like, why is this man in here not turned?
And I love the fact that she didn't have to whip out a book or do research.
No, she
once
knew it.
she got
She
the
was smart.
signs, once she picked up the signs, immediately.
Yes.
As soon as Haley Steinfeld got up and ran out of there, she said,
This ain't right.
now if she can get up out of here, that means Stack about to wake up too.
Yes, because she was like, he needs to go.
She said,
he need to go.
She said, we need to move this body outside. She said, just for now, we need to put it outside. We can mourn tomorrow. But
she was picking up on the cues super fast.
I love that.
I love that we didn't have a character who was dumb. Like Sammy did some dumb Sammy did dumb moves. Like, cause he ain't know no better. But I feel like Annie made up for the fact that
the deficit.
Yes. Annie more than compensated for any character who was on the not making the smartest
She was
decision.
our Yoda, and I appreciated that.
Listen, they grateful Annie existed.
Yeah,
all right.
Great. Annie saved a lot of their lives. Annie stopped Lisa from running out there. Grace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I loved Annie. I loved her and Smoke's relationship was really nice. I like the fact that they didn't do that whole like I hate you situation.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of patched it up really quickly.
She was the first person to catch on the cornbread shenanigans when he came back.
Listen,
I love that scene.
She knew, and I like the fact that she was the one who knew.
My favorite scene of one of my favorite scenes of the movie.
I think that's probably in my notes.
When Cornbread came back.
That's one of my favorite scenes too.
And Cornbread originally, before he died, was tasked with watching the door. He was the bouncer.
doorman. Yeah, he was a bouncer. Correct.
He goes to pee. Remick gets him. We don't see it.
Right.
They do a lot of the bites off screen, which I didn't. A lot of the initial bites.
You're right.
All of the initial turnings are off screen until we see Haley Steinfeld do it to Stack. But we get the gist that Cornbread has been turned.
I mean, you already know it.
Stack is now dead. They've closed the bar.
Stack is locked in a room.
Cornbread comes back and he's like, let me in. And one Musaku's like,
and that's
as big as you are, why can't you just push past us and walk in here?
That's when I realized that they had to be invited. I was like, oh, he has to ask.
I loved that scene because, yes, correct. As big as you are, you should be able to just push past us and walk in here. But
He's
you
the
can't
bouncer.
cross this threshold.
Yeah, because you have to ask to be invited in.
And
so good.
Also, and the way that works is even if you were alive when you were invited in, when you die, you have to be re-invited. The invitation does not carry over.
Which is exactly what happened with Mary.
Yes.
And it was a retroactive realization because Mary, when she leaves because she has to go. The juke joint ain't gonna work out financially.
Right.
So she goes out to talk to the white folk like, hey, what money y'all got? Y'all know, maybe we might be able to work something out. That's when she gets turned. When she comes back, she asks Cornbread before he leaves. Instead of just walking back in because she was literally already there, she asks like, oh, you gonna let me back in? And he's like, well, of course. Like, you was just here. Bingo. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that's crazy.
So I love the Cornbread scene. And with Wonmi Musaku, that was one of my favorite scenes of hers.
She had all the best scenes.
When she challenged him at the door, and then she that's when she was letting everybody know, like, don't invite nobody else in this bar, and don't leave.
The Cornbread scene, the garlic scene, the scene at the very end, which we will save. I thought that scene was very good.
Yeah.
I like the fact that she was supplying the kids that worked at the plantation with like medicines and whatnot, and she was just taking like whatever plantation fund. She wasn't like really charging them like real money. That was also nice. I mean, her character was just like 10 out of 10.
She was the only one who knew about the wooden stakes. She told them about the wooden stakes.
About the steak. She actually threw garlic pickle juice on somebody.
On Remick hit him in the face.
Listen, I mean, this girl was
she was Wonmi the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Vampire Slayer. Annie the Vampire Slayer. We'll call her that.
Jamie Lawson plays Perline.
We kind of already talked about her a little bit. She was Sammy's boo.
Yeah.
She says that she's married. I'm gonna believe that she was telling the truth.
One of my notes is in the it's hard enough to go out to the club today without your significant other. In 1932, you wasn't walking.
She literally shows up by herself.
To the juke joint without your husband in 1932.
Yes.
And it wasn't like he was working late because y'all sharecroppers and you don't work the crops at night.
Right.
So where was he at?
We never see her husband.
We never see
by
him.
the way, she does sleep with Sammy. But she's the one who resists the garlic. She does She does have a singing number.
She's the singer.
Yeah. So Jamie Lawson, I'm assuming that was her actual voice. So she did good. That was really
All
good.
the singing was good.
But yeah, her character I liked her character. She wasn't like a main. She was more supporting. But I liked her character in general, even though she was like cheating on her husband. She was slick witty. So, I mean, whatever.
Clearly.
Whatever. I mean, if it worked, it worked.
I mean, it didn't, because I wonder if you ever wondered what happened to her.
Yeah, she don't make it though.
No, she didn't.
Like when we say don't nobody make it but Sammy, we are serious.
That's what happens when you walk to the club in 1932.
She could have.
Sometimes you don't make it home.
If she would have stayed home, if love would have brought her home last night, she would have lived. So yeah, but she was good. I like Jamie Lawson.
The irony of leaving your husband to commit adultery with the preacher's son ends up getting you killed.
Literally turned into a vampire and then killed.
Crazy way of the universe working.
Yeah. Sorry, Perlene.
We'll see you in Gotham. Omar Benson Miller plays Cornbread, who we talked about. He was funny. He plays one of the sharecroppers in town who's still left there.
Yep.
They pick him up on the way to the juke joint.
And he plays the bouncer.
To play a bouncer. I like the scene with his wife where Michael B. Jordan was basically telling him, like, your wife will let you leave to go make some money.
Right. And she was like, how much?
Right.
Gone. Get out of here.
Scoot. Go make some money and come back.
But I liked his character.
R.I.P. to her. She looked pregnant. I mean, not R.I.P., but so sad to her. She looked pregnant. Now she's single in 1930s.
Cornbread got a real bad bite too.
Yeah, he got a real bad bite.
He almost
shot in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a not a good. Nobody had a good end, but he had a real not good end. But he did have one of the best scenes when he was trying to get back in, and it was like, hold up.
All of them kind of. So. I loved how all of the vampires didn't really do a great job of convincing everybody that they were okay to come back inside.
Yeah.
Even Bo. Bo was kind of like, come on, let's go. And Cornbread is literally eating somebody 2 feet away from him.
And they were just like.
And Grace is like,
sir?
Do you not see that?
Husband?
I was like, Bo, are you not going to try?
No. He was like, oh, he's fine. And they're like, he's getting eaten. He's like, come on.
Being eaten.
Come on, time to go home.
Like, don't worry about that.
Right. And everybody just looking on the side like, sir, there's a man getting eaten. Do you not care?
So I thought it was funny that they barely tried to get back in.
Right. He wasn't even trying to get back in. He was trying to get her out.
Right.
That was the crazy part. He was like, oh, I just need one. I don't need the rest of you.
Delroy Lindo plays Delta Slim.
Second favorite character.
Yeah, he's great. So
Delta Slim is the blues player that's the first person they pick up. Mm-hmm. But he has a really, really great scene where he tells us they pass some people a chain gang, essentially. Mm-hmm. And he says that he knows all of them. And they probably all wrongfully chain ganged anyway, but Jim Crow South. He tells a story about one of the men that he knew that was on the chain gang, no, he says he knows all of them. One of the men who used to be on the chain gang, he tells the story of, and basically the short version of the story was they took all of them to go play at some white people's house. They got paid. One of the guys used his money to try to leave town, and he ends up getting lynched. Mm-hmm. But the way he tells the story, you can tell he's like reliving the moment as he's telling it, and it's just real kind of like...
Because it's still living in the time.
Exactly.
Where it could happen again.
And it's just real like, this actually probably, I mean, even though this is a movie, this actually probably happened.
It hit me like when you have... It's like when you have an elder telling you a really sad story and you feel them about to break down. It's like, oh, God, if this elder cries, I'm going to cry.
Right. But to keep himself, it seems like from crying, he starts like humming a tune.
And you can tell.
Right. And he's like tapping like real hard. And then I think they're with Stack at this point. And Stack tells Sammy to start playing his guitar to kind of ease themselves through it.
Because they all picked up on it.
Right. So he... Probably one of the best scenes of the movie. Great acting moment
for everybody.
But Delta Slim is funny through the rest of it. He is also kind of the comedic relief of the movie in some points. He was funny in the garlic eating scene because he starts eating the garlic and he starts like choking up and be like, oh my God. I was like, please don't make Delroy the vampire. Please don't. And he's like choking up and hacking it. It's because he had too much to drink. Yeah. He's actually fine.
He's had too much to drink and they're under attack.
Right.
And Delroy's like, this is too much.
He ends up sacrificing himself so everybody can escape. So yes, he does not make it either.
Yeah.
But I wanted to...
And I knew it. When he said at the door, when he told Stack that he's mine, You got to get through me.
Yeah.
I was like, dang.
He did say that. There was a
Yeah.
little bit of foreshadowing.
Yeah.
He also had foreshadowing talking about the juke joint where he was telling Stack,
Also one of my favorites.
where he was telling Stack, like, is your club going to be around for me to play it consistently? Because where I've been going for 10 years, been there for 10 years, and going to be there for 10 years. What about this?
He said, I got $20 for you to come play at my joint. He said, no, you got $20 tonight.
Right. What about tomorrow?
Maybe.
I got to go eat, live my life, and drink and do whatever. So, Delroy Jin-do, second favorite character, no notes, perfect 10.
Great. And lastly, but not least, Lee Jun Lee, who plays Grace Chow. She is part grocery store, part flower shop craftsman owner in town. She's the only Chinese cast member.
Or her husband.
Her husband, her daughter. They're the only Chinese cast members in the movie. I like them. I like their whole dynamic. We didn't really get much of the daughter, but the daughter does not seem to approve of their night shenanigans.
Yeah.
So sad to her. She's now an orphan.
She is. And somebody pointed out on Threads that in Mississippi, I guess that's kind of maybe relevant in the North too. The Chinese own like the shops and stuff, and they would have like and something I didn't notice that somebody pointed out, when there's a shot of Grace as she goes from one shop to the other shop because her husband calls her over, when Stack shows up like, hey, go get your mom, tells the daughter go get her mom. She's in a shop for the white people. And then when she goes to the other shop, it's the one for the black people. And they would say back then, like, the Chinese owners would have a local shop for the black people and then would have a local shop for the white people because that's just how segregated it was. And I was like, we didn't
spend too much time in the second shop. I didn't even realize what the second shop was.
Me either. I was paying so much attention on her because the camera is focused on her walking.
Yeah, it's a moving shot with just her.
It is almost like a one take.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I might have to see that again because I did not catch that.
Yeah.
But I liked their family. I liked her. She did invite. She was the one that invited the vampires in.
I get it. Awful decision.
Yes.
But I get it.
Yeah.
So basically, Remick got Bo, got the memories. They know they have a daughter at home. And Remick's like, well, if you don't come out, we're going to go to your daughter. I mean, they were going to go to her daughter anyway.
They probably would.
But I liked Grace at the end.
Yeah.
Because she made sense at the end. When they were all standing there like, we need to wait till morning. And that's all we got to do. And Grace was kind of like, he's killed your brother. He's going to kill my daughter. And you're telling me to wait for a better time to act. She said, the time to act is right now. We're dying.
Because I think Smoke was like, I need a minute to think. And she was like, we don't have a minute.
She said, this is it. This is the moment. Everybody is dying. We need to act now. And I love the fact that...
people are dying, Cam.
Right, exactly. I love the fact that she was preparing the Molotov cocktail.
She let them in, but she was ready to fight.
And I
give her that.
I feel like the reason she let them in is because the only way they're not going... She said, we can't stand here and let them go to town.
Yeah, because that's what they were going to do.
Only way they were going to be able to protect the people in the town and keep her daughter from being eaten was getting them in.
Yeah.
And distracting them.
Once again, vampire lore.
And
that
you know what?
You have to invite them in. So she basically yells, you can come on in.
She does an open invitation to all of them.
Right. Right. And I guess we didn't really mention this, but the reason why Remick has even shown up is because Sammy has played, and I won't say what the scene is because it's probably one of our favorite scenes. Sammy has played a song that has broken the veil, as we opened up the movie, broken the veil between the past and the future, and then it also invites evil. So Remick thinks that Sammy can help him with his music get to his ancestors, which is what Remick mentions, like, I want you to help me see my people, and you know, because he's been alive for 1,300 years. A lot of people who ain't seen before.
I don't know what he was going to do with that because they did not see that. Well, we'll talk about that scene later.
And it's not very well fleshed out. Yeah.
So I was wondering, like, is this part of there are other things outside of vampire lore?
Oh, because yeah, maybe.
What is Remick's goal here?
I will say I don't think that was well fleshed out. I had to read somebody to explain that before I got it. I was like, oh, I can kind of make that connection. But it wasn't. The writing there got a little wasn't fully closed.
Sammy is a witch of some sort because it's not the guitar, it's Sammy. It's the singer.
Sammy has the power that is explained at the beginning of the movie.
But they didn't really explain what Sammy's abilities would do outside of the
ripping
cause
the veils.
Of this movie. Yeah, what it would do for Remick. But maybe Remick knows something because he's been around forever.
Maybe. So. And we didn't really flesh that out.
And vampires and witches be knowing each other, so they be talking.
They do. They do.
But last thing I want to say about Grace.
Yes.
She went out like a G. She took out Bo while she was on fire.
She did.
And she went out too.
She did.
Which was crazy.
She used a stake and they both burn up. So at least she was about that action. I'll give her that. She was like,
low.
I'm not staying here. I'm about to go get my daughter. If not, I'm taking somebody out with me.
She did. Good for her.
R.I.P. to everybody.
Likes and dislikes.
Let me get my note. I gotta go back to my notes because I feel like I had several. I like that we got a little back history of every character. So that was good. So the whole hour or so that we take to get to the actual vampire showing up at the juke joint, it is not wasted. It's not slow, in my opinion, because we get a little backstory about everybody. So when we do get to the big fight, it's all meaningful. Like we have a little connection to everybody. So when everybody goes, it's kind of like, oh dang, oh dang, oh dang. You know, there wasn't anybody who got it where I was kind of like, oh, that's okay.
And they go pretty quickly.
Yeah. I mean, they bite you done. Like there's no like little bite,
Yeah,
big
it's not
bite.
like blood sucking. It's more like meat ripping a chunk out of your neck.
Yeah, they taking chunks. They not just biting. Like when Mary turns Stack. Which one is which? Stack. When Mary turns Stack, I mean, she biting him, but when we get to see him, I mean, the whole side of his neck.
Whole side of the jugular is gone.
Whole side of his neck is gone. This is not really a like or dislike, but I would have liked to see, we talk about the vampire hunters now.
Yes.
Okay. So when Remick.
This is a like.
It's a like. I just had one little extra that I would have liked.
Okay.
So when Remick shows up, drops out of the sky or wherever he was coming from, he runs to the two other white people's house that are part of the clan, whatever. He turns them eventually. He lets them in. They let him in. He turns them like an idiot. But the Choctaw Indians show up as soon as he gets to the house and he's trying to get in. They show up like, hey, where are you going? Because they are literally vampire hunters.
Yeah.
And it's like maybe, 4 or 5 of them.
And that was the second mention of them in the early narration.
We get Irish, Indian, and West African.
And she name drops the Choctaw.
Yes.
Which means that they probably know a bunch of stuff.
Oh, I'm sure I mean.
like outside of the vampires, they probably
Native
are
Americans.
in the know. Like.
Hello. Them and Annie already. These are the smartest people.
They're like, of one mind.
So they knock on the door and they're like, hey. That man you got in there, you might want to get him out of there. And of course, these white people is 1932, so they super racist, and they're like, get off my lawn. Essentially, he's like, ma'am, I'm just trying to tell you, you might want to kick him out of there. And she's like, no, leave us alone. Nobody's in here. He's like, God bless you. We getting out of here.
Which is so funny because it's relevant to the time period. Y'all were so quick to let in some random white man that you couldn't tell who came from where.
He's sizzling.
He has look outside. How did he get here?
And he lies and says that some black people try to rob him or something, so he needs to shelter because they coming to get him.
But the Native Americans who show up to try to help you
ain't bothering nobody.
You turn them away. Well, y'all are the clan, so that makes sense.
Right, and they are. We actually see a shot of the robes on their bed. So what funny part about that is the guy who goes to the door is trying to talk to the white woman, but I'm calling his friend, his fellow hunter is on a horse and was like, "Hey, the sun going down. We gotta go."
I love that. I love the fellow hunter was like, "We've spent enough time here. They have chosen their fate.
Y'all had 30 seconds.
Yeah, and we need to get inside.
We getting out of here." So they ride off to mind their business, to maybe go find another vampire, and we never see them again. I would have liked to see them again. That's my only nitpick.
No, because everybody would have lived.
Okay.
They could have that.
Maybe not everybody.
Because the Choctaw wasn't going to let that go down that way.
Listen.
They seem prepared.
Oh, it was like they was on horseback.
They had a caravan.
Listen.
Yeah.
Horseback.
Yeah.
Ready to take Remick out.
Gang.
And they would have if them stupid white people would have let them in the house.
Just foolish.
And by the time she gets back to, they're only talking for less than a minute.
And as influential and powerful as, Remick is, he was running.
Listen, by the time she gets back to her husband is turned.
Gone.
Done.
And they have a crib in the back. And they didn't really elaborate. There was no baby in it. But they didn't really elaborate on that. They didn't elaborate on a lot in this, but I think he ate the baby.
He probably did. He probably bit the baby.
There was a crib in
There's
that
a
room.
vampire baby somewhere.
And he was sitting in a rocking chair.
He was.
So he definitely ate that baby.
He did. The baby did not make it. But yeah, shout out to the Choctaw Indians who showed up and tried to help and went about their business. Yeah. They obviously was not wanted.
I like them.
I liked it a lot.
I like the fact that she mentioned them in the beginning in the lore, and I like the fact that out of all of the people in the beginning that she said, you know, back in the day it was the Irish, back in the day it was the West Africans, it's still the Native Americans. Like the Native Americans, like, no, we're still doing this.
Yes, we're still vampire
We're
hunting.
still doing this today.
Yeah. If Ryan Coogler want to make a prequel, make one of the vampire hunters.
Right.
I will take that. I will take that.
And I mentioned that the Choctaw was the same tribe mentioned in Echo.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
twice Choctaw have been on this podcast.
I like that. I like that.
And great depictions in both. So
yes. And one more thing I'll say for likes. I won't say what it is yet because we ain't that part yet. But happy ending. I like that the ending technically was a happy ending for one of the people.
Okay.
It was.
Okay. Yeah.
Not
sure.
one of the twins got a happy ending.
I mean, it's the 1930s. Death comes for us all.
Exactly.
So,
but the way that it happened, I was like, I'm fine with this. This is good for my soul. Yeah.
Like I said, I like the writing. I like the characters. I don't think I mentioned the costuming, but the costuming was really good.
Ruth did her thing.
I think I already kind of mentioned all my likes and non-spoiler.
I mean, that's how we do when we get through all these characters. All right, let's do what's next. Ending.
Sure.
All right, so next is the ending. So basically what happens is the vampires come in because Grace invites them in. There's a big old, what'd you call it, Mexican standoff.
Yeah, in Mississippi. Mississippi vampire standoff? Sure.
Vampires is getting bit up. They're killing some of them, but it's only like...
They're not doing well.
6 versus like 30. So I guess we didn't mention that when they close the party down, everybody leaves. Mm-hmm. So everybody goes out not knowing that
it's the middle of the night.
Right. Not knowing that the vampires is waiting for them.
And there's 4 outside at this point.
Right. Mm-hmm. So as we are inside with our main crew, they are outside turning everybody that left at the party. Yeah. So they all show back up. All of them are now vampires. Grace lets them in because now she's concerned about her daughter and them going into town. And there's a fight. I mean, we got blood, we got fighting, we got stabbing. This is where we lose Annie because Annie gets bit and she tells Smoke earlier, if I get bit, kill me. Yeah. Because she knows, she like, I do not want to be stuck as no vampire for 1,300 years.
Because when you're a vampire, you're not really... It's not like when you're a vampire, it's you. It's the demon in your skin with your memories. It's like not really you.
You can't go outside. Yeah. Like, you can't see no sunlight. You know, your soul is basically done for. So she's like, if I get bit, kill me. So she ends up getting bit.
And she says she has her baby waiting for her.
Right. And she knows that on the other side is her child. Mm-hmm. So she gets bit. Smoke kills her. Because that's what she asked for.
What she wanted.
See who else there
was.
I
thought it was interesting that Stack and Mary were upset that he killed Annie after.
Yeah, they didn't think he was gonna do it. I guess
they thought that turning Annie would finally get Smoke over.
Oh, you're right.
And it didn't.
It did not.
Annie was
because
mad.
Stack is the one who bit Annie.
Yeah. And Mary was mad when he killed Annie.
I read that somebody thought that because he killed her, she got scared and that's why she ran away. That's why, because Annie pieces out at this point.
Yeah, because I think that they assumed...
I'm sorry, Mary pieces out at this point.
I think that they assumed that Stack would just roll over, and she was like, oh no, he's going to murder us.
Yes.
So she left.
Yes. So Mary pieced out once Annie got killed. Yeah. You know, she was not a vampire at this point. Daryl Wayland got bit, so technically he did turn into a vampire.
We don't see him though.
We don't see him. Mm-hmm. Basically, everybody but Sammy and Smoke get turned into vampires. Yeah. We get a standoff at the end with Remick. So Remick's got Sammy hemmed up, and we think this about to get done.
So we got a 2 plane of action moment. We got Remick versus Sammy outside, and we have Smoke versus Stack inside.
Right. So we see Stack and Smoke fighting, but we don't see Smoke kill Stack. Mm-hmm. So then we cut.
They pull an Alien Covenant with the 2 Davids.
You ain't see the dead body situation.
2 Michael Fassbenders.
Mm-hmm. Because the way they're killing the vampires is with stakes. Right? Yeah. Stakes. So we cut to the scene from the twins fighting where it looked like Smoke is about to kill Stack.
Get the killing blow.
Mm-hmm. We go outside with Remy and Sammy, and Remick is sliced in the face.
Remick sliced Sammy in the face.
Okay, Remick.
Oh, no, yeah. Both of them got sliced in the
face.
They
slicing each other up outside.
I don't know how that worked, but
Me neither. And Remick is like dunking Sammy in the river, which somebody said it kind of they felt like it represented like white people trying to like baptize the culture.
Like baptism.
It did, but he's dunking him repeatedly.
Because he's telling him a story about Christianity and the prayer.
And somebody was like, it kind of felt reminiscent.
Oh, that makes sense because when the Christians came to take over the Irish land, what did they do? baptize them to death.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we think. That's what, missionaries do. They like
doing the same
convert
thing
you and baptize you and all that jazz.
Yeah.
So it did like washing away the original, your original thoughts and beliefs with whatever they want to impart you with.
To him. Interesting.
Yeah. So, but what happens is Sammy is able to slice Remick in the face with his guitar piece. I mean, it was
gross.
It looked nasty. It looked good, but it looked real nasty.
He had it him hard because that went like halfway through his skull.
It was almost kind of like when you in like a
hubcap,
a tornado and stuff be flying all over the place and something slice somebody in the face.
Yeah,
that's what it looked like, but it was stuck.
In the scene in Twisters when there was hiding at the movie theater, at the drive-in.
Exactly. Yeah. And then somehow smoke comes out of the blue amongst the vampire crowd. We just gonna let this slide.
Nope.
And somehow stabs Remick with a stake, and then Remick actually ends up burning up into the flame. You actually see this in the trailer, but they edited it real well. The part in the trailer where they're looking at the flame going up in the sky, that's actually Remick burning up, but they've edited out Remick, so you can't really see him in that part.
And that makes sense because the older the vampire is, the more glamorous their exit is.
Yes.
They don't just dust. They start bursting into flames.
Exactly. So he gets stabbed with a stake, and the sun is coming up. So that's how Remick dies, and that's how all the other people who have turned to vampires die, because they get burned up because the sun is now slicing them to smithereens with smoke.
This movie was so good. I'm not letting that plot hole slide.
It was crazy. There's like 30, 40, 50 vampires, and somehow Smoke is able to get around every single one of them and stab Remick with the stake.
Up on Remick. First of all, how you sneak up on somebody in water?
I thought it was somebody else. I was like, somebody else is coming.
It would have made more
nowhere.
sense if it was like Pearline, because as nuts as she was acting over Sammy when she was alive, it would have made more sense that she would have tried to save him even in her death.
But no, it was Smoke.
But it was Smoke.
Somehow stealth mode.
Snuck around the posse of vampires.
Turned into Sue Storm.
Got into the Invisible Woman, because he was in the Fantastic Four.
He was. He borrowed some powers and stabbed Remick with the stake. And I was like, oh, it's Smoke.
But like we said, like Glorilla said, at the end of the day got to end.
Yeah.
And they needed the movie.
The movie needed to wrap up at this point. And I'm calling it a happy ending because what happens is Sammy goes back to the church where his dad, and then we get back to the beginning of the movie. He goes back to the church, and his dad was telling him, like, drop the guitar, come home, leave that bad devil music alone. He actually decides to leave town, which is what his intention was anyway. He talks with Smoke earlier, like, I don't want to be here, I need to leave. So he eventually leaves town like he wanted to do. Smoke, however, because we find out through Remick that the two white people that he turned earlier, who we know work for the Klan,
got their memories,
were actually the
niece and nephew of the Klansman who sold them the mill?
The Grand Wizard. So the Grand Wizard was the one who sold them the land for the juke joint.
He even said he was the Grand Wizard.
Used the term.
Right.
Said that the Grand Wizard's plan was actually going to sell them the land and then come back and lynch everybody who was there.
Because it wasn't actually a mill that they sold him. It was a slaughterhouse. And the plan was to come back and slaughter all the black people that were in it.
Because in the beginning of the movie, when we first meet the twins, one of them asked if they had cleaned the floors because there's something weird on the floors. And at this point, I guess it was blood of some sort.
Probably.
But yeah, the Grand Wizard was actually this, and when I said this is why this is a horror movie, the white people was gonna show up, and they do. The whole clan shows up, not in their robes, thankfully. I actually didn't need that imagery, but they show up in their business suits. Kind of like clan robes. And
Friday.
Right. They trying to get into the juke joint, but they don't know that Smoke, who has military experience, is starting to snipe them off one by one. And he basically kills all of them, including the Grand Wizard. And he has this moment. He also gets shot. So as he's basically dying, he sees Annie and their baby. And she's kind of like, come on over. Like, we waiting for you. So he shoots the Grand Wizard up. I mean, he lights him up real good. It's a really good scene. And then he basically dies and joins Annie and their baby on the other side. So that's why I call it a happy ending, because he made it to the end with his, he killed the white people and he got to be with his wife and child.
Did he lock the doors because he was hiding stack inside?
Well,
we don't get an answer to that, but
because we get an after credit scene, which
it would make sense that he did that.
Yeah.
I was confused why the doors were locked.
The doors to the juke joint are locked when the Klan shows up.
The club is closed. The vampires are gone. So why is the doors locked? But
probably
we didn't see Stack leave. And by the time Smoke got outside, it was already daylight.
It was super daylight, and Stack would have needed to stay there
at least until night.
Where you probably wondering, like, what are you talking about Stack for? He died, right? No. So the post-credit scene we get is Sammy is now older. He left, like we said. He goes to Chicago to be a musician. 1992. Yes, he so what is that?
60 something years?
Yeah, 60 years later. Mm-hmm. He is now a famed musician playing in a Chicago bar that he owns. Mm-hmm. And his bouncer says, there's 2 people outside that want to talk to you. We told him to close. He like, whatever, bring him in. And it is Stack and Mary.
Right.
Who are now 1992 vampires. Mm-hmm. Looking in 1992 clothes.
In his Coogler sweater.
And they've lived all these years. And the promise, what happened was that Smoke did not kill Stack. Like, because we ain't see the stake go into his heart. He told him to promise to leave Sammy alone. So all these years that they've been chilling around being vampires, they have left Sammy alone. And I guess they was just paying a visit to just say, hey, how you doing? Just want to let you know we still alive.
That made no sense to me.
If you I don't know, the timing was kind of weird.
They showed, the timing was weird to show up. It was weird that, I mean, I guess because they're brothers. My thought was like, Smoke, if you know you gonna go die, you could at least take your brother with you.
He did leave a vampire alive.
Y'all were menaces before y'all were vampires. You know your brother's gonna be an extra menace now.
Smoke did leave his menacing vampire brother alive, which is kind of like, that's why I had happy ending question mark, because there's a vampire and Mary is on the loose.
Yeah.
Like they literally are, and they leave. Like Sammy doesn't kill them. I mean, he old at this point. They do offer to turn him. He says, no, thank you. Mm-hmm. And they leave off.
I mean, at this point, I don't want to be turned now. It's not going to reverse aging.
Right. Like, he's going to be an old vampire. And you can tell it's Sammy because his face, he still has those scars from when Remick scratched him when he was baptizing him. So, movie ends with Annie and Smoke living in the afterlife with their baby. And Stack and Mary living as vampires until the end of time. And Sammy gets to leaves the plantation and gets to be a musician, and I guess he lives technically. He says he has a nightmare like every week about the incident, but before everything popped off, that was like the best night of his life. So
I thought it was interesting that he continued to play music after what you did.
I thought the veil was going to open back up.
Yeah. So why would you continue your music career after you just literally were responsible for this?
In the post-credit scene, Stack asked him to play that music again because he hasn't heard it since then. He plays the music, and I was like, is he about to open up another veil for more vampires? Because he clearly has a gift of doing this. But no,
maybe
they leave
it. Well, no, he did sing. Yeah, so it's weird. I don't know why he continued his musical career after you.
Maybe he found a way to control it.
You caused this? I mean, still.
I don't know.
No.
It was interesting that he played. I mean, he's like singing for them. And I don't know. You're right. It was kind of interesting. But Stack and Mary leave to go be their vampire lives.
Yeah.
And Stack does mention that, it does kind of bring him sadness that was the last time he saw his brother. He can't go out in the sun again. But, you got to do what you got to do.
Except for a few hours, they were all free.
Right. They were, until it
Remick showed up and they were dead.
Literal heck. So yeah, that's how the movie ends. But I liked how it ended in terms of, even before the post-credit scene, I liked how the movie wrapped up. So I thought that was pretty good.
Random notes?
Let's do favorite line or scene first.
Okay. Favorite line or scene. My favorite scene was Cornbread. Trying to come back in, and Wumi was like, absolutely not, because we ain't stupid.
That was one of my favorites.
That was really good.
That was my favorite. Is probably gonna be one of the most popular scenes for the movie. So when Sammy sings, they give him a moment, like a solo moment at the juke joint, and when he sings, he opens up the veil. So this is the opening veil scene. And there's a past, present, and a future montage. So we get like West African dancers, we get a blues player, we get hip hop, electric guitar, a DJ. Somebody was twerking on a headstand. No, she wasn't on a headstand. She was twerking at a table.
It's in the kitchen.
It is just in the kitchen. But they basically play different airs of black music in the juke joint, kind of pop up as Sammy's playing, and it's just really well crafted and really well done.
Not even just black. Because when Grace was walking around, she had one of the Chinese dancers dance around her. So just everybody who wasn't white.
Sammy was able to reach across ethnic backgrounds as well with his power. But it didn't sound like a mess because as he's playing, the genres obviously switch of
it
music.
Blends. Mm-hmm.
It blends really well. So that was a very well edited, put together, planned out scene.
And the way it's shot is very good. It's a one take.
It is a very good one take.
They sprinkle in people. It takes you it up until the guitar player showed up did I realize what was happening.
Yes.
Because right before the guitar player showed up, we saw the West African people.
It looks like we're just going to the past first.
And with the West African people, I was like, oh, okay, so this is these are the spirits of the past.
Ancestors.
And then the electric guitar showed up.
Yeah, then I was like, oh, we in
I
a
was like,
future.
oh, we're going all the way.
Because they know electric guitar in 1932.
No.
And then we get a DJ booth, and then we get the girl twerking. I was like, oh, we're like everywhere.
I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. I thought the magic music concept was interesting.
Yes, that was good. That was probably my favorite scene. I will just highlight some other scenes that I like. The cornbread trying to come back in, one of my favorite. The garlic in the circle, eating the garlic in the circle was my favorite scene. And then one very short scene when somebody tries to cheat at a dice game. They beating the man up in one room, and then they start closing the shutters. And in that same scene, Annie and Grace like turn their heads
because they know what's happening.
Oh, we don't see this.
Right.
And Annie just take a bit of her drink, like ignoring.
Right.
I thought that was funny.
That was good.
So yeah, that were my favorite lines and scenes.
Noise. Any random notes?
I mentioned this already. It's not a musical, but it does music better than the Joker 2. I thought that was funny. I already mentioned another one where Mary said she could beat up every woman in the juke joint. I thought that was funny.
That was funny.
She was like, you told me how to fight. I can fight everybody in here. And I was like, girl, please. I would like to see it.
I had a couple. He knew better to take off that necklace that Annie made him. While he showed up to try to throw salt on her root work.
He was wearing it.
She was like, so
Under
that
that
means
suit.
You ain't wearing that necklace no more, right? And he opened it up. Was like, no, because you're not stupid.
Under that fancy suit was that necklace.
And he got it recharged. So, because he knew better.
He did. And he took it off at the very end. But at that point, it was like, I'm about to die and kill everybody. So,
found it interesting that Stack was a prostitute in Chicago.
Is that what I picked up?
Yeah, that one line drop.
I was like,
when
did you say he was selling?
So there's a scene in the movie, which I also is a random note that I found very interesting. How the brothers went up north, stole from the rich white people, and came down south and expected to get a come up from the poor blacks.
Yeah.
There was a scene in the movie when at the beginning, as soon as they open up the bar, one of the very first patrons at the bar pays with plantation money.
Yeah.
If you know anything about that, back in Jim Crow South, they gave slaves plantation money because it wasn't to keep them from attaining any actual
it was just
wealth.
like coins or
monopoly
fake
money.
Paper. Yes, essentially.
It had no real actual monetary value outside of the plantations.
Plantation currency.
So they opened a bar on the plantation. So I mean in Mississippi,
same area,
in
right?
the same area. So the patrons, the people who are the sharecroppers, who they want them to spend money here, they try to buy liquor with the money, and Smoke wants to have a conniption about it.
Yeah, he's not happy.
And Stack and Annie take Smoke into the back and is like, these people worked a full day.
Right.
Working harder than you have worked.
Right.
They deserve a drink. This is still money.
Right.
I thought it was interesting and very telling of the brothers that they left here because it wasn't forward enough. Went up north, stole, and came back. And expected these people to be different. Yeah,
it's the same livelihood that y'all left.
None of them changed. Y'all did.
And the other interesting part was the first interesting part about that. It was Stack was the one trying to talk some sense into Smoke.
Yeah, which was interesting because I was like,
a role reversal.
What a flip of the coin on that one.
The second thing was that they did the numbers based on the plantation funds and the real money, and they realized in 2 months they wasn't gonna have no money.
Because why on earth would the two of y'all think that the people in Mississippi had the money that y'all wanted to buy the Irish beer and the Italian wine you stole?
It made no sense.
They didn't even know what that was until you brought it down here.
Exactly.
So their thought process of trying to make a come up off of the people that they abandoned was funny.
Yeah.
I thought that was very telling, very good writing, but I like that tidbit. That was what I read.
Like we said, the brothers were not perfect people.
No.
At all, period.
Very human people. But the Stack was a prostitute in Chicago. Smoke drops a line when they're talking about taking the plantation money, and Stack is like, "Did you ever let a John play you with plantation money? You selling butt in Chicago?"
False. And I was like,
and Stack said,
Stack
said no, but I wasn't selling it in the Delta. So yeah,
yeah,
I thought that was funny.
I literally was like, I think I heard what I heard. But that's why I was like, I feel like I need to watch this again, because that, and then the scene about when, the two grocery stores where it was white people one and black people in the other, I was like, I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
It was.
I picked up on that scene because I was like, wait,
yeah,
that only means one thing.
And they literally just keep going. And you're like, I think I heard what I heard.
It's like that phrase only means one thing, so.
We don't revisit it.
And he didn't deny it. He just said, I didn't do it here. So
and there's only one other woman, I think, in the conversation, and she was not in, she was there.
She didn't acknowledge it at all, but exactly. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Stack was going to go so quickly, but I did.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
But I was right on my hunch about how he was going. In the scene in the trailer where Haley, you see the blood on the wall, I was like, that's clearly her killing him right after she kills him.
I think there's a scene where in the trailer where it looks like they're kissing or whatever. I was like, this must be the scene where she turns.
I didn't know he was going to go immediately. I thought he was at least going to go after realizing what happened, but no, he went before they even realized they were under attack.
He's one of the first to turn. Well, after Mary. Yeah. After Mary, he's number 2.
I had a note that said fragile masculinity is going to get us all killed. Stack is dead, Smoke. Mm-hmm. Mary has just gotten up after you just put 10 caps in her.
Oh, he lights her up and gets up and leaves.
Annie is trying to tell you to step away from the body. I understand this is your brother, but we're in the end game now.
He was not trying to put 2 and 2 together.
I was like, you got to cry for your brother later. We are dying out here.
Michael B. Jordan does a very good job of that moment of his brother being gone. But Annie's like, the woman you just lit up on fire literally just ran out of here.
After biting your brother.
You need to leave. Like, we need to get him out of here.
One of me was so good. Immediately. She picked up on it immediately.
Yeah.
She was like, I need you to let go of the body.
Right. And she didn't immediately think vampire at first. She just knew something was wrong.
She knew it was weird.
She knew something was not
her
holistic.
First instinct was, put this man outside until we figure out what's going on.
Right. Because you shot up somebody who should be dead, and now she's moving.
And she wasn't even down for more than 2 seconds.
No.
Before she got up laughing, pushed past you.
Right.
And then ran out of here.
And y'all was all like, huh?
Exactly.
So yeah, Annie was the bomb.
Oh, they don't heal. I thought that was interesting, but the makeup effects does really good. Mm-hmm. My last random note was how to sneak past the goons to kill Emmerich.
We talked about that. That was, listen, the movie is not perfect. It's pretty good. I will let that one slide, but I literally thought somebody else killed him.
Yeah, I did. I thought it was Pearlie.
Yeah.
Because they showed her standing out there.
Yeah, so I'm going to let it slide.
Or Delroy. It should have been Delroy.
That would have been nice.
That would have been nice.
But then we would have had but then you wouldn't have had the final scene with Sammy and Smoke when Remick was getting all burned up.
I guess, yeah.
So you had to place Smoke in that scene, but how they did it was very kind of like,
right.
We'll just place him here.
He got there the same way Emmerich got to them white people's house in the beginning. Remick did.
Yeah, copy pasta.
Just fell out the sky.
Just copy pasta him over here. And there he was at the right time.
All right, let's get our rating.
All right, so I am going to give this 5 Nicole Kidmans.
That's a 5 Nicole
Kidmans. The movie's great.
Dazzling images on a silver screen.
It's not perfect, but no movie is perfect. But this is definitely going to be one of my favorite movies so far have been Captain America: Brave New World, Black Bag, and this. And
I just rewatched Black Bag.
They will probably stay at I usually don't take things out of my best favorite movies, but so far this is hit one of my favorite movies of the year.
Yeah, this is definitely going into the physical release collection.
Steelbook.
It's a 5 Nicole Kidmans for me. This was good. The only issue I had was how Remick died, but I found it funny more than an issue. It's just a nitpick, and it's funny.
It is a nitpick. It just seemed like they needed to wrap that up.
I don't have nothing to critique, so I'm gonna stick with my nitpicks.
Right. It was yeah.
It's funny. It's funny. It just showed up.
Because we see the stake, and I was like, oh, somebody's like, one of the vampires like remembered what was happening and was like taking one for the team, and then it was Smoke, and I was like, how did you get down here, sir?
Like, how did you get here?
Did you run?
It's like a record scratch moment.
Right. It was like, well, where's your brother at? Did you? Okay, sure.
That made me laugh, and I laughed. I laughed hysterically when they carried the dead body, with the body they thought was dead.
Oh, that was a good
Let's talk about that for a second.
Okay, yes.
So there's an earlier scene in the movie which was a twist, a different type of twist that I didn't see coming. So early in the movie when they're doing the garlic,
yes,
right before, the reason they're doing that is because they notice that there's a dead body in the bar after they've sent everybody home.
Yeah.
After all
so it's only our main, like, 6 or 7 people.
And after all the confirmed vampires have fled the vicinity. There's a dead body on the floor.
Right.
So they go out there. They see it's a dead body. They carry him outside, put him outside.
Yeah.
Come to find out, it wasn't a dead body. He was just laying next to a pool of something that spilled on the floor. So they sacrificed a person.
They sure did.
But I laughed hysterically when they threw him outside. And instead of just going inside, Sammy's like, "You hear that? You hear them singing?"
Yeah, that was playing music or something.
Who cares? They're thinking about killing you. You want to stand out here? You want to Shazam the song? What are we doing out here?
There are vampires eating people. And you know they eating people.
They're talking about picking somebody clean.
Yeah, pick Robin and clean.
Yeah.
It was a very weird song.
It was a very weird song, but it was kind of like, yeah, Sam, who cares? The vampires who are trying to kill you out here say, get your butt back in the house.
That was a good way to wrap up that vampire eating circle. I mean, the garlic eating circle, because it was like, well, if none of y'all vampires, I think Andy was like, are we sure it was blood? Somebody was like, are you sure it was blood? And they go back and like, oh, snap, it wasn't.
Yeah. Because in the thing, and that was my notes, it's like, this is from the thing, because they're doing the circle thing. And the thing, the surprise was that one of them was the thing.
Nobody.
And it ate one of them.
Yeah.
This was, nobody was the thing.
They just put that man outside.
Killed a victim, and Cornbread ate him.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
And that's when Grace's husband showed up and was just like, oh, don't worry about that.
He woke up in just enough time to beg for them to let him back in before Cornbread got him.
Yeah.
So
Cornbread was a vicious vampire.
Yeah, he was too big to fight off.
And his bite looked nasty. But yeah, so overall, movie 5 from both of us. Definitely go see this on a big screen. If you are near one of them fancy IMAX screens, check it out. We saw it in XD because we hate our local IMAX theater. So we had a premium screen, but not the ones that the movie was made for. But it still looked good. Yeah. It still looked good. And definitely check it out on IMAX within the next 2 weeks. If you listen to this before May 2nd, because Thunderbolt's going to take all them screens. So you need to hurry up and see it on IMAX if you are interested.
Shout out to everybody who gets to see it on the 22nd.
Yeah, are you talking about Thunderbolts?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to have to block Thunderbolts and Cowboy Carter come Tuesday. Because her tour starts on Monday.
I mean, we know how it ends.
The tour?
How Thunderbolts ends.
No, I'm talking about, I don't want to see no clips from the Beyonce tour.
Oh.
On my feed.
You're going to stay off the internet.
I ain't going to be able to do that. But yeah, go check out Sinners as soon as you can. Run them numbers up.
It's a great movie.
Make sure this makes its budget back. It's an original film. It's black. It's from Ryan Coogler. They need to give him whatever he wants to make with any ever future movie he wants. And I will see if I can handle the X-Files. Maybe.
Okay.
Crossing my fingers.
That is our review for this week for Sinners. Go see it. What are we watching next week?
The Accountant 2, which I need to see The Accountant 1.
The Accountant 1 was fine. I think The Accountant 1 was short.
Was it?
I think it was like an hour and a half.
What? That's my kind of movie.
Because it was... Are you a Ben Affleck fan? Do you like Ben Affleck?
I like non-Batman Ben Affleck, yes.
Okay, yeah. So The Accountant is out. Came out, and at this point, came out 10 years ago.
Wow.
2016. So 9, almost 10 years ago.
I didn't realize it was that long ago.
Yeah, a very, very long time ago.
Oh, 2 hours and 10 minutes.
I don't remember that much of the first one. So I'm going to have fun rewatching it. I do remember that the lead was Anna Kendrick and J.K. Simmons in this one. They've changed the lead to a different detective, our girl from Rings of Power. She's going to be his new
sidekick
client.
Okay.
Seems like she works for some type of federal agency, so she's hired him as a contractor to do something. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I like Ben Affleck in dramatic roles or non-Superman roles.
I can't remember the last thing I saw Ben Affleck in.
We saw him in Batman v Superman.
That was not the last thing we saw Ben Affleck in.
Justice League. What's the last thing we seen him in there? Go ahead.
I'm trying to think.
Gone Girl. Gone Girl.
That's the last thing you've seen Ben Affleck in?
You got something more recent?
I'm looking. I can't bad off the top of my head.
He's not going to have anything.
He was in The Flash.
You ain't see The Flash?
We saw The Flash.
I did not see The Flash.
I thought we both watched The Flash.
I've never in my life sat down and was going to watch that movie.
So I've seen The Flash.
Okay, well, the last thing I saw him in was Justice League.
Oh, you didn't watch The Last Duel?
No, I read that. Oof. No, and no, thank you. So yeah, Justice League.
Yeah.
Dang, that was a long time ago.
That's the last thing you've seen in it was a while.
Why do I feel like he been in my face though for other things?
I mean, he's been
commercials?
jumping between his exes a lot recently. So
you probably right.
Making that news.
You probably right. That's probably why he been around.
He's been hopping between the Jennifers.
Oh, we done. That's none of my business. But sometimes you just don't want to hear about certain things, and that's just something I don't want to hear. Like I don't really care about celebrities. Like real lives that much.
No.
As much as I want to hear. If I hear more than that, I'm like, ugh. Make a movie so they can talk about something else, please.
Thanks for listening.
Sorry. Mild tangent.
If you like our show, please share it.
Mild tangent.
You can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on our website at vaguelynerdypodcast.com, where you can also leave us a voice message, which we'll play on the show if it's nice. If it is not nice, you'll hear from Cheryl about it.
And I'm going to find you on LinkedIn.
You can follow us on Threads and IG at Vaguely Nerdy Podcast, Blue Sky and Twitter at Vaguely Nerdy Pod. You can reach us at vaguelynerdypodcast@gmail.com. For email, if you're listening to us on a podcast app, you can watch our animated format of our podcast on YouTube.
I got a blue Kango on so I can match Smoke.
The vampire teeth I usually have on makes sense today.
Hey!
So twice. Nosferatu and this. So
I should have put the teeth, but I didn't do that. I just did the hat.
Also, if you want to buy us a coffee, you can buy us a coffee.
On Ko-fi.com at Vaguely Nerdy Podcast.
Or on our website. There's a link to the Ko-fi on our vaguelynerdypodcast.com as well.
See the links everywhere if you want some cash. Yes. Until next week. Bye.
Bye. I don't know what I was thinking of.